out to the car, grab that picture that I put on the dash. I forgot to bring it in. Sorry.
And so that's kind of your center, and
Okay.
you don't have to stick to it rigidly. But
This is just where the mic or the camera picks me up.
yeah,
All
so
right.
that's your best angles for everything, and we
Okey
usually
dokey.
have a little bit of time to go over that too. But
Are you live now?
yes. Why?
I'm just making sure.
Yes.
Don't say something stupid.
Don't say something stupid. So just you can relax back into the chair if you want. You still have room to just chill however you want to be. You don't have to be like.
I saw you guys do the camera cuts and everything, different angles and all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Uh-huh.
You do that with a button.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that little dude
This
right
guy
there.
over here.
All right.
Casual, just chatter.
We're
Did we ever discuss apple pie with you before? It's if we go down the road of something you don't want to talk about. Apple pie.
Oh, that's the word?
Yeah, it's a safe word.
it's a
For some
safe
reason-
word.
I don't know that there'd be anything I wouldn't want to talk
Right.
about.
Fair.
Some
That's
people.
That's
I don't-
most people's answer.
I don't
so
know, but maybe.
You never know.
That's most people's answer. So you
Apple
just-
pie's a safe word. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Accidentally talk about something you don't want to
It
talk
starts.
about.
You start to tell a story, and you're like, "Oh, I can't tell that."
No, if
so-
we ask the question.
Or yeah, that too. But anything like that, even if you start going down the road.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know what the hell kind of tequila I bought, but it's clear.
I could have brought some. I didn't.
I bought.
Is it last time I was here? Well, the very first time I was here.
Yeah.
That's better than what you had the first time I was
Okay.
here. You had Montezuma
Yes!
like dollar shelf tequila.
Shittiest
Yeah.
shit tequila
Yeah,
that's
when I
ever
was
been
here the first
shit.
time. Yep, that'll. I've never had it, but I'm sure that's better than.
It was
That
like.
shit we had before.
Oh my god! It wasn't top shelf, but it wasn't bottom shelf.
Do I need to wait or can I?
No, you can partake
No?
all you want to. We're gonna do shots with pickle juice, but
Oh, sweet.
that's just our thing. What we like to preferably do.
All right.
Well,
So
Well-
who canceled on you?
Amio from.
Oh, really?
Household. Yeah.
Man,
this is like our fourth time with her.
Yeah.
I feel so bad though for her about all
Oh,
that
I
shit she's been
know.
going through.
Oh, no kidding.
And then apparently the people won like Missouri's Best 23 on all that after. I mean, on
Oh,
her.
really?
Yeah, like the people that stole the money from her like won. They just posted
Oh, my
they won
God.
Missouri's Best 23 for like catering or whatever. Yeah. So they basically won it off her dollar. You know.
Right,
That
right.
stinks.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
We can do a shot on air once we go.
All right, well, go ahead.
There's 4, so. Let me get my shit together because I always do this backwards. All right.
Go ahead in 3, 2, 1.
Boo! There we are.
Are we live on the air?
We're live on the airwaves right here in our studio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unsung Screamers, episode number 101.
101.
101.
101.
This is Tyler Weeks 101.
Tyler Weeks 101. Yeah, so we're going to learn all about it.
On this day, September the 8th, be with you with special guest, last minute guest,
Last minute.
emergency guest.
Emergency guest.
Tyler
Tyler
Weeks.
Weeks. There he is
That's right.
right there. Everybody go.
Look how excited he looks.
If you're ever in a pickle, let me know.
That's right.
Speaking of pickle.
Literally just rolled in from, what'd you say, Lebanon?
Yeah, I live in Lebanon, so I got off work at 7, and it's like 40 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but the Okia to the limits, but I got here, so.
The Okia to the limits.
right.
Well, cheers, sir.
Hey,
Good
cheers.
to see you.
Key up.
Cheers. You
To
know how
the
much
limit.
you know how much I absolutely adore you guys, so
Aw,
I appreciate
thanks,
you guys
buddy.
having me.
We do know. We adore you, man. We had one conversation with you once before, and it was just a quick
It
one.
was a quick one
Yeah.
for
But,
a benefit.
it was a great
yeah,
one.
that was a quick one for, and then I mean I've crashed the show with Jared a few
Yeah.
times, but nothing formal.
Nothing like
though,
this.
no.
And so this is like the closest thing to formal because we
right.
get you for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have you till about 3 in the morning. Is that
Oh
cool?
well, that's
I'm just kidding. Not really. Not really. Unless, I mean, whatever. No.
So, man, how's it going? We joke about you just getting off work, but literally, even people may have heard it if they've been here since the beginning.
Right.
You just walked right in on
Yeah.
us already being live.
Yes.
I did.
Didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to porch hang.
And no, I work from home, and that's a new thing. I mean, I think that's been probably 3 or 4 months now. It's nice. I don't have to put pants on
Right.
if I don't want to.
Right.
I don't have to see anybody.
Nice.
You know, but again, I was stationed in Springfield. I work for Rally House. It's the big sports store across from the mall.
Okay.
We sell Chiefs, Cardinals, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
Okay.
yeah.
So I handle all their customer service, the customer service manager. And I was stationed at Springfield, basically like in the closet in the back. And then they're like, hey, if you want to work from home full time, if you have the setup and the internet connection and all that, you're more than welcome to do so. And I said, well, I mean, that's a 40-minute drive I don't have to make every day.
Yeah.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
and with gas at $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and it's been nice, but it's, you know, it's hard to get anywhere. I mean,
Right.
it's an hour if I'm
Yeah.
going to come here to do anything. So
Well, we adjusted
But-
the time.
well,
There's
and
people here watching.
I
and-
appreciate you guys starting late for me. So
bet.
Yeah, no problem.
You bet.
I appreciate you coming on at the last minute.
Yeah.
Hardly any notice.
Helps us have a thicker Thursday. Otherwise, it was just going to be him and I just bullshitting about Queen Elizabeth or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
How about
she
that Queen Elizabeth, huh?
passed away today.
96.
Or was it today?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the official
96.
time is up in the air. Somebody said last night.
Well,
but
she's dead.
she's
no matter how
gone.
you slice it.
she's dead.
Doesn't matter if it
Either
happened
way you
today or
slice it,
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah.
So was
dead.
she? I guess Betty White was older, right? Betty White
was 99.
99.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of era of person, though. They could have been in high school together.
Man, I'm just still trying to figure out why we care about the royal family at all.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I mean, she lived an extraordinary life.
Yes,
I'm
she
not
did.
trying to take away from that. But why do we care about the royal
Why do
family?
we Americans care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do people over there care?
You know when I
I mean,
stopped
they-
caring? I
what do
stopped
they
caring
do?
when Princess Diana got killed in a car wreck.
Yeah.
When I saw it all over the news. That's all I saw in the news
You're so
Yeah.
sick
for
of
like
it.
5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
I might agree
Yeah.
with you there. I might have
Yeah.
just been like, okay, I'm out.
I was
That
kind of.
was just my.
I think I grew sick of it at her wedding, when the world shut down for her wedding. Like I'm like, why do we care so much about her wedding?
I don't know. I'm actually kind of honestly asking it.
Yeah.
Not you two, because you ain't got a damn clue.
No.
But
No clue at all.
I was,
Julia's here. Hi,
don't-
Juliet.
was
I
pretty
really
young.
don't know why we care in general for
You were-
hundreds of years.
You were pretty young when that happened.
I mean, Princess Diana. Yeah, I mean,
That was on
just
stage.
I remember seeing it on the news, her car accident or whatever it was. But was it a car wreck? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what year it was, but I wasn't very old.
It was 96-ish, wasn't
yeah.
it? I know I was on stage
maybe-
in Clinton,
So yeah,
Missouri.
so I, mean, I would have been about 8 or 9. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of those things where like, oh, somebody died, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't register, but I just remember her being, a big thing. And
Yeah.
I remember having the worst nightmare I've ever had in my entire life the night she died. Well, it was about a week after she died. I dreamt that I was at her funeral and she came back to life, live on TV, like rose up out of her casket.
Of all the
I
of all the
about
people
jumped.
though,
Yeah.
of all the people, you dream of Princess Diana did that.
Yeah. All the people were there, all the cameras, and then all of a sudden she came up out of her casket.
Oh, my God.
I about jumped out. It was awful.
That's a nightmare.
I'm telling you, it's the worst dream I've ever had in life.
You know what's weird is that anytime I go to a funeral, I don't care who it is, when you go up to view the body,
Right.
I'll sit there for a few seconds and I'm like, I wonder if they're just bullshitting.
Yeah. Every single time.
You know?
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
come
like-
on. Tickle,
I'm
tickle,
like,
tickle.
what if they were just fucking with us? Though? I do. And I don't know why, even though like I know they're dead, but
Yeah.
it's like, I just wonder, because sometimes if the mortician's really good at making them look good, I'm like, just what if? you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Let's watch their chest. Watch their chest.
Yeah.
They're going to breathe. They're going to breathe.
Yeah.
Can't
I don't
help
know
it.
why, but I still do it to this day every time. I just always just pause for like 5 seconds to look at them and be like, what if you're bullshitting? But
So what if it's an urn filled with ashes? Do you still think that?
no.
They're
and
just playing. They're
No.
just playing.
Well, we actually never, or I don't know of anyone that's ever seen a cremation happen.
Right. In real life.
So it could still be kind of applied,
It
but
could be.
Is it weird to have? I've always thought it's really weird to have like your loved one's ashes just on a shelf somewhere. To me, that's just weird.
I've got my dad's in here.
Is it strange?
I don't feel it's strange. Not me.
it is strange no matter how you slice it.
I think it's,
But
And-
I don't know if it like feels uncomfortable. It's just kind of, I don't know.
and I guess I had a friend that let's see, passed away. It had been 2 years ago now, and his mom had him cremated, and she gave me like little bitty thing of ashes, and I wasn't gonna tell her no.
Right.
I mean, like we grew up together, and it was a bad deal of drugs, and he killed himself. But she gave me a little thing of his ashes, and I couldn't tell her no. And I took it home and I put it in the bottom of my drawer, But then I just kept thinking about it, like, like my dead friend just kind of hanging out in my sock drawer. And so finally one day, and I told my wife about it. I just feel weird, but I said I couldn't tell her no.
Right.
But finally, when I was cleaning out my sock drawer, I just pitched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I'll never tell her that, but
Right.
she's not watching the show. But it's kind of, it was just weird, man, and I couldn't do it. Does that make me an asshole because I threw
I
it in
don't
the...
think it makes you.
I don't think it makes you an
no.
asshole at all. No.
I mean, there's going to be people who think you're an asshole for that,
I mean,
but not
Everybody-
me. But not
Is he
me.
an asshole?
I'm sorry.
I mean, you could have at least gone and spread it onto the earth
I guess.
instead of
I
just
guess.
give it to
But
BFI.
that's weird to me too, though, because I don't want to be responsible for that. So I just threw it away.
Yeah, I spread my mom's ashes on the old farm where I grew up.
Boink.
After it was before I sold it. After I sold, I can't remember.
I didn't feel that bad about it, but now Dan's giving me a complex about it.
And we, my brother and I, spread her ashes, and part of it got into the air conditioner and the fan, and it went poof right in our face. So we inhaled some of our
Oh
mom.
my god. I don't know.
I can
just
laugh
can't
at
do
it. I can laugh at
That's
it.
the thing about
You have to laugh.
But that's another thing about the spread and ashes thing. It's a mess.
It is a mess.
No
Yes,
matter,
I've done it
you're
twice
gonna
now.
get it on your hands. You're
Yeah.
gonna. There's just no way around it.
I tried to pour my dad I'm not going to say where I put some of his ashes because, but I tried to pour some of it and it just got all over my hands. And I was like, the first thing when I went back into the place, I was like washing my hands like crazy. Like, oh, Dad's going down the drain now.
It was.
It's so weird to
It
think
was
about.
at a restaurant.
Yeah,
And so-
yeah.
I don't know.
I've never done it. I've always said like one thing that people talk about their bucket list, and I've always had this kind of theory that my own personal theory, like it can't be on your bucket list if all it takes is money to make it happen.
True.
So you can't say like, oh, going to Paris is on my bucket list. Like, well,
Right.
just fucking put it on a credit card. I don't give a shit. What the fuck?
Right.
Being on a bucket list to me is something that's kind of like not a financially related.
Maybe something that's not in your control.
That kind of a thing. And one of the things
Yeah.
on my bucket list is to be asked to spread someone's ashes, which has
Really?
actually already happened. I already have
You've
a
been
friend.
asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've checked that one off then.
No, I
You haven't done
I
it
haven't
yet.
done it
Haven't done
yet,
it
but I have been asked.
But the checklist that says asked.
So
Yeah.
like when that time comes, you're
I feel kind of responsible. Like I better do it right and make sure. Yeah. But I say all that to say that I've never done it. I've never spread ashes before.
well.
Louis C.K.
I
has a
haven't-
bit. He's like, don't give me a chore. Don't give me a chore to do when you die.
I haven't spread their ashes, but I just took the whole thing and just put it in the
I
trash.
think-
Does
I think
that?
the hand motions what's got me laughing. I was like, pitched it. Doink.
I mean, it was just. It was very strange, and I felt like I would have been an asshole had I told his mom, like, no, I will not accept that.
Right.
Right.
But
I
you
think
know, I mean, she'll never know.
No.
Right.
No. I think you're
What's the
right.
difference in him hanging out in my sock drawer and being in the trash?
Right.
Right.
He was nearer to you in the sock drawer.
I
Yeah,
think
but-
it's a big difference.
I think it's a big difference too.
You know what?
Mom, if you're watching, don't give
Sorry.
my ashes
You know
to
what?
Tyler.
I got some of his clothes. I mean, his mom gave me his Bible. So I mean, I got some things of his that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't need him,
Or a
just
little piece of
hanging
him.
around. After
Did you think you were going to be haunted or something?
Maybe.
Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I mean, he kind of obviously was, because I could see how you would not stop thinking about it. I
Yeah.
could definitely just like it's there, like it's just always on your mind.
And it was. I mean, it was just. I was just uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
every time I would think about it, someone would talk about him, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah,
he's right over-
he's in my sock
He's
drawer."
in my sock drawer.
And it was just really weird. And I'm sorry.
Bink.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
gosh.
Your mom says, I won't.
I won't.
I won't.
My mom's not giving you any of my
Nope.
ashes.
Nope. I won't.
Well, no one else commented on me being an asshole for that. So
No, not yet.
Okay.
So our Screamer Dreamer medication information, she says Princess Di passed in August of 1997. I was close.
you were
Oh,
close.
you were
I
very
was
close.
very close.
See, I would have been 9.
9?
9.
Yeah.
I was born in 87. So, yep, I'd have been 9.
9. I was on stage at doing a show, and when it was all over the news, and that and the OJ chase, I was on stage for that too, and nobody was watching us. Both incidents, I was on stage.
Oh, you said 97. No, it would have been 10. Well, I went to Buffalo, so my math was a little off. Yeah, I would have been 10.
10 years old.
Yep.
And that would be a big thing when you're 10, like a big celebrity like that passing away. I can see that. I was a child when Elvis died. I was like 7 or something, and so that was a huge deal.
And maybe it changes with, every kid's different, but I think at 10, it's kind of hard to understand. I don't think you fully understood death at that point. I don't think that you really grasp it, like, the concept of it.
Right.
And everybody's different, but I know me at 10, I mean, I knew, like, someone's dead, like, they're not going to, but you don't understand it, really. And
Yeah.
I'd never lost anybody in my family at that time, so it was like, but I remember the first celebrity, though, that, like, really shook me was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was working at O'Reilly's here in town, and unloading the back of a truck, and I started getting texts from, friends and family that knew I was a huge fan,
Yeah.
and I thought they were just fucking with me,
yeah.
Right.
and then I saw it on the news, and that was the one that really,
That's a
like,
big one.
that one
Yeah.
rocked me, because
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah. And
It was
Prince not long
wild.
after. I mean,
Yeah.
well, a little bit after, but still.
But
I
Michael-
was in the middle of a meeting with a client and I do cabinets, and this client was building a huge house. I mean, we were going through massive amounts of drawings and designs, and I would just meet with clients and go through their entire house full of drawings, and this was a huge house. We just all were finding out together because of the texting, and we ended the meeting.
Yeah.
Like, nobody had a
Yeah.
problem with it because they were freaking out too. They were
Right.
like, "Are you?" I looked at my phone. I got about 4 texts, and I was like, I think Michael Jackson just died.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You got to be kidding! Like, I'm not gonna be able to focus anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to fucking end this meeting, and we'll reschedule." And I was like,
Yeah.
everybody just
Yeah.
went like shutdown mode.
Total. I was on a plane and we landed in Las Vegas, and then everybody's phones were going bling, 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 bling when you turned the phones back on, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like the whole plane was going nutso over Michael Jackson's.
It's kind of like one of those things, like everyone knew where you were when 9/11 happened.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Like, you knew where you were when Michael Jackson died,
Yeah.
when
Yep.
you got the news.
It
Yep.
was, yeah.
And
It's a big one.
It was a crazy.
Especially in our generation, that's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one sucked a lot. I mean, there's been plenty since, but Michael Jackson was the first one that I
Yeah.
was like,
And then there's 2016 where so many of the icons died.
yeah, that was a terrible year.
Horrible year for celebrities.
Yeah. So what's on your bucket list here?
On my bucket
Yeah.
list, I want to swim with dolphins.
Yeah, but you could do that. That's money.
That's money.
I know,
Yeah,
but-
you can just go to Florida and do that.
I want to do that, but I ride a horse on a beach. I want to do that. That doesn't take
That's
a whole lot of money.
too.
But still, some of
You
these
just got to
things.
make the arrangement and go do it. That's
Well,
just
okay.
you being a procrastinator.
Well, give me a credit card with no limit, and I'll go do it.
I don't think riding a horse on the beach would be that expensive.
I don't think so either.
No.
You could borrow somebody's horse.
You could drive your own down there. You got one.
I got one and a mule.
Just
But
rent a trailer. It can happen tomorrow.
drive to
literally.
Galveston.
You could drive to Galveston tomorrow.
Broom, broom. Let's do it.
We
I don't
wanted
know.
to do that. We got married in June, and we went to Florida, and we wanted to swim with dolphins, but we didn't have a lot of time, and we were there just for the weekend. It was kind of a fast thing, but we did parasail though.
I did do that.
That
yes.
was pretty dope.
I loved it.
Yeah,
You haven't done
parasailing.
parasail?
No, I haven't
oh,
done that.
I freaking love
Parasailing was awesome. Yeah, they asked us. They said, "Do you want us to dip you in the water?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And she was like, "Hell no."
Did
Were
you
you
go
doing it
together?
together?
We did, yes.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
tandem, yeah.
Yeah.
But they just give you a little dip and get your feet wet.
Yeah.
But she was thinking a shark was going to come up. And,
Of course,
but
because you can see them from up there.
Yeah, but it was fun. We didn't see anything. But we'd like to swim with dolphins. That's something. And there was a place you could do that
Mm-hmm.
there, but we just didn't have time.
I worry more about that movement that a kite makes when you're trying to get it off the ground, and then all of a sudden it just goes wham into the earth.
I wondered too how they were going to get us up there.
Yeah.
But you sit on the back of the boat, and they strap you up and put these uncomfortable straps up between your legs and stuff, and then it's literally like they just send the boat forward.
And then
the wind just and you just
and they
go.
have a nice
And
big
it's on
giant
a
crank
pulley system,
thing.
yeah, and it just eases you out.
Huh.
Yeah, I was thinking, that we were just gonna twoosh, and you're there.
Yeah, like
Right.
like the parachute at the back of
yeah.
a dragster
but no,
or
it's
something.
just a winch, and they just let you up.
Yeah, it was
It was
awesome.
cool.
They did the same thing to us. There was a boat of about 6 of us, I guess.
I think
and we all went separately.
Yep.
And they said something about dipping, and I didn't want to be dipped.
Yep.
But as I was coming down, they were like, Are you sure you don't want to be dipped? I'm like, okay. And everybody else was like legs or whatever. He dipped me up to here.
Oh, wow.
All the way up to my freaking neck, drugged me for a minute and popped me back up. And I wasn't pissed. I was scared to death at first, but I thought I'd be pissed. It was awesome. It was so fun.
I'm kind of voting no on that business.
The whole thing or dipping?
Yeah, the whole bit. I
The
don't
whole
want to do
bit?
it. No,
You don't-
I wouldn't want to do that.
But it's different from parachuting because you're tethered to the boat.
I've never parachuted either.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm kind of
heights-
no on all of it.
The heights bother you?
Maybe a little. And being 51 years old bothers me.
Yeah,
I was afraid I'll
35.
have a heart attack or something.
See, I kind
Then
of.
I'm just up there dead, like still in the fucking thing. Like I don't.
My God.
I don't want to go that way.
Well,
Look at you in your bad habit shirt. I just realized you're wearing a bad habit shirt.
That's right.
Band I was in centuries ago.
It's the OG.
The OG bad habit shirt.
Anyway,
Yeah. But what about a bucket list? Anything else? What about you people
you
that are
still
watching?
haven't answered.
Well, I've answered what
It's
I
a
can.
bucket list that doesn't require just simple money to just get it paid for. It needs to be like an idea.
Right.
Do you have any?
The big idea.
I haven't really thought about it.
I know you got to put some thought about
I know, that's why I'm-
into it, not just being a
I
money
mean, if
thing.
we're talking about things that don't require money, I'd have to think about it. I'm
Yeah,
sure
me
there's
too.
something, but I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to do. I just don't have the money to do it.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's something that was like a, you know, and just a natural occurrence or something that you could do or be asked to do. I haven't really thought about it.
I know something, but it's not attainable.
What's that?
Singing with Brandy Carlisle. I just don't think that could ever happen, but that's definitely.
Oh my God, what a fucking way to talk about your bucket list.
I'm just saying.
The whole reason you talk about a bucket is like for shit that
But is a bucket list something it's
you
supposed
are
to be?
not a dreamer. I'll
is
tell
it
you that right
supposed
now.
to be attainable?
I would like to sing on stage with Brandy Carlisle.
Yes.
Put it on the bucket list.
All right.
Why would that be something
Yeah.
like
But that's-
just
that's what you're
it's
talking
not
about.
attainable. It's just not
But
obtainable.
that's more what you're talking
if
about.
you set your mind to it, it's obtainable.
Okay.
That
We,
would
we
be-
kind of we're kind of 3 degrees away from her.
No, I'm just saying it would be so easy for you to sing on stage with Brandy Carlisle.
Really.
Yeah.
It would be the right place at the right time.
Of course, it
And
would
I
be a
would-
lot of things
and
that
it
would
would-
have to line
And I
up.
could
But
check it off. I could, you know.
what a weird way to put that. Like, the whole point of having a bucket list is like this.
I thought it had to be attainable, and you just
It's
we're-
obtainable for
we're
you
too
to sing
chicken
with
shit
Brandy
to do it.
Carlisle. Just go knock on her bus door right now and be like, "Can we get on a stage and sing together for 5 minutes? The crowd doesn't even have to be here.
I could-
boom, it's done.
I could, like, lie and say I'm dying.
I will fucking make that happen this
Will
weekend.
you this
Yeah.
weekend? This
Dear
weekend,
Lord.
you're gonna invite her to my karaoke.
What's the point of having a bucket list if you're not gonna like say like the most wonderful thing you would love to experience?
there
and
you
you're
go.
like,
I gave
well,
you
it's
one."
probably not obtainable.
But I gave it to you. That's what you're talking about.
You barely. I
'Cause
drug
most
it out of you.
People's bucket list is something that just has to do with money.
No, it's not.
Most people, yeah.
Mine is spreading someone's ashes.
That being asked to.
Being asked to.
And you can already
And
check
I've
that off.
already accomplished
All
it.
right. Now what else?
I'm on number 2.
What else?
You need to keep working on number 1.
What else? I already gave you number one. Singing on stage with Brandy Carlisle.
You barely get. Don't take
That could-
credit for
That
it.
could happen. That could happen.
It's a bucket list.
It could totally happen.
That could happen.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's one for me.
I'd like to see 2 albino deer mating.
Oh my God.
See?
Okay.
I don't know. It could happen.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list.
One of my bucket lists has actually happened.
Yeah.
And that's what this picture is right now.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do some show and tell? Right.
now,
is
Or we
is
can do it later, whatever you want to do. But one of them has already happened.
All right. Well,
And it was, again, right place at the right time.
okay. Well,
kinda thing.
let's do it.
Well, we just accidentally stumbled across bucket list talking.
Bucket list talk.
Let's go
brought
right
to you by
into-
Unsung
You-
Screamers.
We tell every guest that we like to play show and tell exactly the way we used to do when we were in 3rd grade,
Not the dirty way.
which
just-
was my. That's show you mine, show you yours.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's a different game.
That's a different game.
That's
you
a
know?
different
Tara.
game. All right. Thanks. I went to Grove Spring High, Hartville,
exactly
We
the
didn't
way
do
we
any of
used
that.
to in third grade because show and tell in school was one of my most favorite
best.
things of my entire
It
life.
was the best.
I loved
Show
it.
You Mine, Show Me Yours was my favorite.
Yeah, I played that one once too.
I never did.
Anyway,
I played that game with my wife, and she never went home.
And now you're married.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, we played it, and she never left.
We kind of introduced her to us off camera, but now would you like to introduce the folks?
She didn't know she was going to be on camera.
Well,
I didn't either. But yeah,
Pretty much
this
this
is
whole studio's on camera.
this is
so-
my precious wife. We just got married the 9th of June.
Does she have a name?
Her name is Lindsay.
There you go.
Her name's Lindsay, and she actually just won Missouri's Best 2023 for she manages a children's boutique in Lebanon.
oh, very
Nice.
cool.
Yay.
And so they've been nominated a couple years and never won, but they won for this next
This
upcoming year.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So
That's
so it's pretty exciting. So
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, no, she's great, and I told her to come along tonight because it was going to be a good time.
And
So,
I'm grateful for you for making him happy.
Yes,
she's
he's in a different place
You
than
know,
last time
She's
we
getting
talked.
embarrassed.
as you guys both know, sometimes we don't get it right the first time.
That's
Right.
right.
Or the second.
Or
you
the
know.
third.
Right.
So, but she's great, and I got 4 wonderful kids, and I got 2 bonus kids, so
Nice.
life is good.
Yay.
life is
That's great.
That makes
So,
me happy. Super
Now,
happy. So
I'll
show
stop
and tell.
talking about that, so I don't start crying.
All right.
Yeah, right.
So,
Shut that up.
you guys have heard part of this story before.
Okay.
Okay.
When I was here, how was it, 2-3 years ago now, promoting Brian's thing.
Yeah.
I told you guys part of the story, but we'll go a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
So, as I said, this was a bucket list item. So this would have been 2004. So I'd have been a junior. It was the summer of my junior year in high school. And a friend of my dad's, who is no longer with us, was a huge Elvis fan. Like, huge. And so he was also into cars. So he had a 57 Chevy Nomad, cherry red. Mm-hmm. And he was a singer-songwriter. And he wanted to record an album at Sun Studio in Memphis, where Elvis recorded the first song for his mom.
Yeah.
And so that was his bucket list. So he wanted to do that. So he asked me if I would play drums on the album, and then asked my dad if he would play basically everything else. I mean, my dad plays everything. And so we agreed to go. It was on his dime. He paid for the trip. So we load up guitars, jump in a 57 Chevy, and take off to Memphis.
Nice.
So we get there and pull right up front, and they come out and tell us you can't park here. There's a spot. I guess there's a body shop or something like right next door that basically owns like that part of the sidewalk, and they said no, you can't park here. So we went and had to move the car. Like, well, this is not starting off real hot. So we go in, and it was a whole weekend. It was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're gonna cut the album in a weekend. And so we'd been there Friday, all day Friday, and recorded. And then it was about partway through the day on Saturday, and the engineer of the studio comes to us, and he says, hey, he says, I've got a buddy of mine that's going to come by in a little while. Do you guys care if he stops by? And we said, no, that's fine.
Sure.
And he kept saying Billy Bob. And I'm just thinking... that's the
A lot of people in Memphis
Yeah.
call each other Billy Bob.
I'm
You're
like,
kinda south,
that's
so-
the guy from Uncle Funky's Chuckle Hut. I don't know who Billy Bob is. So, or like, yeah, that's fine. So we just go back to recording what we're doing, and then he starts about 30 minutes later. He says, I got to give you guys a couple of ground rules here. We're like, okay. And he says, when my friend Billy Bob gets here, there's a couple things that you don't want to talk about.
You're like, okay.
Okay. I'm like, this guy must be something. So he's like, you don't want to mention Angelina. And I'm still not putting this all together, right? And then he goes, and you don't ask him about Sling Blade. And that one, I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, shit.
I'm a huge Sling Blade fan.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. So I went to my dad, and I'm like, surely he's not talking about Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob.
And my dad's like, I think so.
Or
So-
he's fucking with you.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm like, this ain't gonna happen, And so like, I don't know, an hour goes by, and in the door walks these, enormous dudes, like tattoos everywhere, like looks like they just got out of prison. Like big dudes. And the last guy in the door was about 5'7", wearing a cutoff shirt, a pair of khaki Dickies. I think they were Dickies. And a pair of canvas tennis shoes and a hat, smoking a cigarette. And it was Billy Bob
Billy
Thornton.
Bob fucking Thornton.
And I am losing my mind, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've met a lot of musicians and celebrities. I don't usually get starstruck, but I was like,
Yeah.
I was losing my mind.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
so we're there, and the guys that were with him were like his band. So anybody doesn't know, Billy Bob's also a fantastic musician. He's a drummer. I think he's in a band called the Boxmasters, I think. And so they were actually in town in Memphis that weekend doing a show. And so they come into the studio, basically just take it over, but we're just sitting there looking. So this big guy sits down on the piano, and then Billy Bob goes to the drums, and I think he had a guitar player there. And they just start playing.
Oh my God. And nobody
li-
had cell phones to record this,
Like,
right?
yeah, just playing.
Yeah.
And this guy is just destroying the piano, just tearing it up. And we're just sitting there in awe. So then they play a song, and they finish, and Billy Bob's like, "Who's the drummer?" I was like, "That would be me." And so he just takes out a Sharpie and signs my drumsticks, and sets them back down and says, "I appreciate you letting me use those." And I'm like,
my God.
"No, the pleasure is all mine." So he's in there a little while longer, and there's a lot of homeless people in Memphis. Like, they're everywhere. So he tells the engineer of the studio, he goes, "Can we bring a couple of those cats in that are sitting out front and just hit record?" So he brings these couple of these black homeless guys in, and he just says, "Just hit record." So he just starts interviewing them, kind of like we're doing now, just like an off-the-wall, random just interviewing these guys, asking them like about their life, how they ended up homeless, and it was really neat. So after they finish, my dad goes, "Billy Bob, I have a question for you." Yeah. And he says, "My son, he's a really big Sling Blade fan." And I'm going, "Oh my God."
Oh, here he goes. That was one of the
I said,
Dad,
was-
they told us.
that was rule numero uno.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, this guy's going to get pissed. Because Jay Leno, he was on the Jay Leno show, and like Jay Leno had asked him about it, and Billy Bob got mad, and he's like, he didn't want to talk about it,
That's weird.
because he always gets asked about it.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
And he's like, I've done other work, but it was always just the one movie.
Right.
Where he plays a mentally handicapped person.
Right.
And so he just kind of got tired. As I can imagine, if you had a hit record,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a lot of things you've done in your life, they just want to talk about this one song, you might get tired of talking about it.
Sure.
It's a
So,
thing.
yeah, so I'm like, he got pissed on the Tonight Show. Like, this guy's going to get pissed. And so my dad's like, would you do a little Carl Childers for us?
Oh, my gosh.
And so, I'm expecting him to just blow a gasket,
Yeah.
right? And he says, you guys are paying for a session, and I'm in here taking up the time that you're paying for. He says, I'll stand on my fucking head if you want.
Oh.
And so he grabbed me and my dad around the neck and just pulled us in, right here. And he makes the face.
Oh my God.
And he just starts ad-libbing like Carl Childers.
Right.
Talking about like went into Sun and there's these hillbillies in here playing rockabilly music. And just ad-libbed this whole thing. And it was amazing.
Oh my
and
God.
he said, we're playing a show tomorrow night. He said, if you guys want to come, he's like, I'll get you guys pit passes.
Oh, jeez.
And you guys come hang out in the green room before the show. We didn't get to go because we had to wrap the record. But
Right.
we did snap a picture,
Fantastic.
and there it is.
Oh my God. Look at that guy. All
I don't know
right.
if your viewers can
That
see that or
iPad
not.
Go
over
to the
there.
silver iPad.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. And you can look up at the monitor. There it is.
Oh my
Look
god.
at that. Oh my God, that is awesome. Fucking
Is that not cool?
That is the
very cool.
coolest.
So, yeah, that's they were gray Dickies, not khaki.
Gray
Sorry.
Dickies, but
Yeah.
still.
Is that not cool though?
Yeah. that's
Smoking
amazing.
a cigarette the whole time,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh my God, how cool is that?
So that was a bucket list item
Yeah.
that got to happen.
Wonderful.
Well, and on top of
Yeah.
it, you recorded at Sun Studios.
so you got two.
I mean,
I
that's,
did.
at a young
I
age.
did. Yeah,
Jeez.
and as you walk in, this guitar right here that you see is signed by Marty Stewart. It's there that you can just play. I played that, but the big thing is when they give tours, the microphone is there that Elvis sang in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we sang in that mic, and I played drums the whole 9 yards. So
That's good.
man.
there's probably pictures of Sun I'd have to pull up somewhere, but yeah, I got to meet Billy Bob and record at Sun Studio
And just jam
when
with
I
him
was-
or
when I
whatever.
was 16.
Yeah, that's
so.
a hell of a
Used for
weekend.
drums.
And I had the drumsticks forever, but like an idiot, I used them after that. Like I still played with them, and so the signature faded.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, so they faded. But I used to have. I did have drumsticks. Yeah, that he signed too.
Something a 16-year-old would do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was really cool.
Just
and
go
so
get another set of
But
sticks.
you do have the photo, so that's cool.
so
Oh, that's great.
I have that. And my dad took some other photos. He happened to have a camera there, but he did take a couple of other photos while he was in there. But it was really neat. And then I actually put together a reel after that. I was into plays and things, and so I actually put together like a reel of plays I'd done in high school and me doing some improv stuff to send. And we actually sent it to the engineer of the studio in hopes that it would get to Billy Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever did.
Right.
But I made it and sent it, just
That's
thinking
cool.
that, maybe, he would check it out. And,
Sure.
I had aspirations to be an actor,
Yeah.
So, but that was I've always carried that picture, I've always kept that because that's
Hell yeah.
that's
Oh,
a
it's
cool
huge.
memory. And you would think that he would be an asshole.
Right.
I mean, like from his movies and just the interviews
And
I'd
from
seen,
what
you
your,
would think
your
he would.
buddy, your
yeah.
studio guy just said.
Yeah, you would think he'd have been a prick.
Right.
But he was so nice.
Nice.
And it was awesome.
That's good to know.
So
I like that.
That's
yeah.
rad.
Yeah,
Sling
he was
Blade
a
is-
great guy.
Amazing.
So did they record or they just came in and jammed?
No, they didn't record what they played. Like his band just
They
sit
just
down and they
wanted
just
to-
played a song and jammed.
They just wanted to play some
Yeah,
stuff.
but then they just hit record when he brought those homeless guys in to do
Wow.
like an interview with them, and
Did he take that? I assume he took that recording.
I
with him?
guess,
or
yeah.
just left it there.
I don't know. Said apparently him and the engineer had been buddies for a long time,
Oh,
and
so
so
he
I don't know
probably-
if that's something where he circled back around and got on his way out of town.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just know that he just told him he's like just hit record and
That's too cool.
We'll see what happens.
Oh,
so
how
it was really cool.
That's great.
I freaking love that.
Yeah, it was a cool story.
It's a cool story. You ready for another shot?
I don't know. Are you?
Yes. I think
You said
so.
you got some pickle juice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever? Well, you
I
like to
love
sip
pickle juice.
tequila.
Yeah, but
uh,
I'd love some pickle juice.
That's why I got that extra. I brought the rocks or the
Okay.
the shot glass.
anything over there?
I got everything. No, I would no. Everybody's quiet. There's 6 or 7 to 10 bouncing back and forth watching, but it's just pretty quiet comment wise. If you got any questions or thoughts, or if you got any other subjects you want us to yak about, please feel free to send them our way. You guys are being quiet. There's only 3 comments. It's just like one of the slowest comments we've
Well, they
ever
all
had.
probably split after they found out he threw his friend in the trash.
That's true. That's true. They're all gone. Through my friend.
Sorry.
I ain't talking to that a-hole.
That's it. I don't care after that.
It'll be the last interview I ever get.
Oh
I'll tell you
man, that thing is leaking like crazy.
I know.
High quality H2O.
I can't believe Jared Isaacs hasn't even.
No
commented
kidding.
yet.
He's
I
he's
think they're
recording.
recording or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
is he?
recording because he said something about he would crash. There's paper towels right
You
down
know,
there too.
I need to go by and I just don't have any time. But he's been wanting me to come by and cut some more voiceovers for him. But man, I tell you, listen, living an hour away, and
Yeah.
I just don't have time.
Well, it's. I was going to mention that too in my little write up, but I did it so quickly. You know, you do the voiceovers for the guests and for the
I do.
intro.
Yeah, I
and-
do the. I did his ad breaks like when he first started.
Yeah.
And then he when he kind of changed things, he wanted me to do some voiceovers for intros. So I did the intros, and then
I mean, just
went
listen
in-
to his voice, people. It's
So
a
I
great,
went in and
it's a great
recorded
voice.
like, I don't know, 2 weeks worth of guests, and then he wanted me to do this deal where I insult him, like make up an insult before I introduce him every week. So I would just make up these insults, and if you've listened to his show, you know, I mean, I would say something like, I think one of them was like, you know, the guy with a body that makes Richard Simmons blush. You know, here's Jared.
Yeah,
but it was just little jabs.
Yeah.
And so he's been wanting me to cut some more of those, but said I don't have time. And a goal of mine is to eventually try to get some recording equipment.
I was just going to say
in
that
my
way.
office, you know, something like just a mic and a program where I can do it and then just send him the files.
Yeah.
Because I have to come up here and he hits record and
Oh yeah.
and that's another thing.
You can get some pretty basic
I guess
stuff.
that would be a bucket list for me, and I wouldn't necessarily say that money could make it happen. I have always had a knack for radio. I mean, I play music. I played music my whole life, but my dad owned a radio station in Lamar. We used to live in Lamar, so my dad put a radio station in there. It's bought out. I think now it's like a pet grooming place, but he owned a radio station forever. And back when he was in high school, they actually had a broadcasting class.
Oh, nice.
At Buffalo. They don't have that anymore. Otherwise, I would have loved to have taken it.
No kidding.
So I don't know if you guys know or knew Rod Kittleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great friend of mine. As you know, he's no longer with us, but
Right.
he was a great musician.
He's not the guy in the sock drawer, is he?
No.
No,
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
No. And
He's
he
Kittleman.
Too sorry.
yeah,
I know.
Rod.
but
course.
they both passed.
You know, his brother
know.
his brother plays in the Dirty Saints
Yeah.
and all those, but Rod was like the number one DJ maybe in the state for years. He was on the 99 Hit FM forever. Ran the morning show for like 30 years. And so I met him through some events, and I asked him, and I said, you know, how do you go about getting into radio? And he's like, well, it's a gift to intern somewhere a lot of times, and, you know, you're doing it for nothing, you know, volunteer to do your time. And he says, you know, or he said you can find some local things to MC or whatever and get yourself a reel put together. So for 15 years, I emceed the Miss Dallas County pageant in Buffalo. That's something they do. Girls 14 to 20, if they live or go to school in Dallas County, they can enter. It's like a beauty pageant kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so I emceed that for like 15 years. And then I've done some parades and things, but I have a knack for radio. And then, as you know, I DJ'd at Friends for a little while.
But you just have a voice too. Your voice, just the timbre of your timbre, whatever that's called,
Yeah.
of your voice is good.
Yeah,
Which is
and
good.
then, you know, it's all about learning to, you know, inflections on certain things.
Yeah.
And I used to cut commercials with my dad, and so he was really good at that. So I would like to get into radio. I don't really know where to start, but I would like to have. I have a face for radio.
No, you don't.
So,
No.
you know, but it's one of those things that I just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
That's always been something that I want to do, but
even
you
at this older age that you are, since you did that, it's probably internships and probably the same kind of thing. I tried to do
Yeah.
the same thing one time when the Statler Brothers tour was over. I went to radio stations and I was
but
like,
you have the voice for it too.
I want to
though.
do this.
Yeah.
And I have no accent, so it's one of those things. And they were like, yeah, you could come and intern, and I'm like, that means work for free. And they
Yeah.
were like, yes. I'm like, I kind of need a job.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah, and you know that's the thing too. I talked to Summer Stevens at the Bull, for you know, a couple of times and asked her about it. You know, I said if they were taking applications, and she said, I mean, you can always apply, but you know, it's kind of one of those things too. It's kind of work for free.
Yeah.
And you know, my uncle told me a long time ago. Who's a great musician. He said, you know, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And I know that's like a catch-22. You
Yeah.
know, well, if you got to get your name out there, you do it for free, but I feel like that, you know, if I was in the right place at the right time, in front of the right person, that, you know, I wouldn't have to intern. I mean, I could just, you know, maybe get an interview or something.
yeah. And just
Right.
you could also talk to the radio stations about doing their commercials for voiceovers
Yeah.
and get paid for that. Tiffany Samples does some voiceovers
Does
too,
she?
and it's like, where do you find that work? Well,
Yeah.
start with the radio stations and just call them
Yeah.
for voiceovers,
Right.
and then something else might happen from that. Just you've got this great voice, and they find out you got a good personality and you're smart. Blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
Jay Stevens be a good guy to talk to.
Yeah,
too.
Jay Stevens.
I talked to him when I emceed Jared's first live show that he
Mm-hmm.
did.
Uh-huh.
I did talk to Jay before the show and ask him about it. And he just kind of, you know, he said, well, keep me in the loop. But he's busy.
Yeah.
You know, he's got
Everybody's
a lot of things,
busy,
He's got a
though.
lot of things going on.
Everybody's busy.
So, but I would like to do that. That's been something that's been a bucket list of mine.
Right.
Or, you know, to run a podcast. But the thing is, you got to find a topic to talk about. And there's thousands of podcasts. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
like the new thing, especially
Oh,
when
yeah.
when COVID hit. You know,
Oh,
I
they
mean,
sprung up
Podcasts
everywhere.
are
Everybody.
crazy. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you got to find a niche, something that not everybody else talks about. And again, but you got to have the equipment.
Yeah.
And
Or you
so
can just
I'm,
be like us and bullshit about whatever.
Yeah. So I don't have the equipment to do it, but some kind of podcast or radio.
Yeah.
I just feel like that I have I've got the voice. I think I could do that.
And like
for sure.
we've discussed it, Tara and I have, like, it's definitely for now not a career thing for us, but we do just totally enjoy it.
Yeah,
like,
it's fun.
Sitting down with people and all these new friends we've made. Some of them we sat down here and didn't even know who they were. I mean, kind of the first time we talked to you about Brian Singh, we like, God, I don't know this guy much. And then by the time that night was over, we were like, we're friends for life.
No, you guys
baby.
are great. Yeah.
But it's been really cool to just, regardless of whether our podcast ever makes money or necessarily gets big, it's still been extremely beneficial for us just as people. Yeah, personally. And I think that's what our driving force is now. Of course, if it were to blow up, that'd be great. But I don't really care too much about. And I think anything, especially artistically, whether it's music, I don't know, writing, poetry, doesn't matter. If you're not already in love with it for that first, it doesn't fucking matter if you make money, you know? I mean, the good ones.
The good ones. Yeah.
The good ones. When somebody's out there writing songs specifically to make money, then that's kind of a different thing.
Writing is, that's a gift that I never got. I mean, that's hard. Writing is hard.
Long form?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my dad, he can be driving down the road and just say, hey, get me a pen. And he can just write a song right there. Me, it takes me 3 days to write a verse sometimes.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I've written so many things that I don't like. And so then I've just pitched it. I'm like, that sucks.
I always want it to be the deepest thing that anyone's ever heard.
Yeah.
And so I don't write anything.
I'm very big on lyrics.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
One of those story songs that, like, there's a song, you guys may not have heard it before. It's like a country bluegrass style song. It's called Echo Mountain, and it's the saddest song I've ever heard in my life. It's basically about a family, like back in the 30s, that they never could have kids. Well, they ended up being able to have a baby, and they had this dog. They had a dog. They couldn't have a baby, so they got a dog. Well, then here comes a baby out of nowhere. And so one night, they can't find the baby anywhere. And then all of a sudden they find the dog, and the dog's got blood all over it. All over it. So the father shoots the dog, and then as he steps out on the back porch, there's the baby that's safe, and the dog has killed like 3 wolves that were attacking the kid.
Oh my God.
So he shot the dog for no reason. That's the song. But it's into a song, and it's the saddest thing ever, but it's a great song.
Of course.
But it's one of those that, it's lyrically, you just listen to it, and you're just hung on to every word.
Who's it by?
I don't know who originally did it. I heard it. There's a band called Cedar Hill that did it. They were a bluegrass band. I don't know who originally did it, but it's a great song. And they use a bass fiddle with a bow. It's just really eerie.
Oh, yeah.
Great song, but I'm a big lyrics guy.
Yeah, me too.
And so, I'm like you. If I write something, I want it to be like
the
really
deepest,
in
most
depth,
inspiring thing
and
ever.
and whatever the catch line is, for people to be like, wow,
Goosebumps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if I don't get that,
And then and then you hear songs like "She's in Love with the Boy" on the radio, and you're just like,
Motorboating.
But what's crazy to me is, like, that's just where music's at today, though. Like, Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody by himself.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think 14 people wrote Justin Bieber's Baby, where they literally just say baby, baby.
All of Beyonce's stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, I'm gonna do this shot. Cheers again. Why do we
I'm
always
gonna
have to
try the
cheers a
pickle
shot?
juice.
We always have to cheers a shot. I guess it's just special every single time. I don't know.
I'm doing the pickle juice, though.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is that why my jar of pickles is all dry?
Yes, but I bought a new jar
Okay.
just in case because I knew that was in there.
I got pickles out the other day. They were all laying in there like.
Oh,
If you guys like pickles,
thirsty.
we're thirsty.
if you guys like pickles and ever get to Texas, you need to have. They have a dill pickle beer.
Oh my
Really?
god.
That tastes just like that, but it's like 11% alcohol.
Oh wow.
But I mean, it's like drinking pickle juice.
Oh geez.
You can get trashed like fast.
But it has
sounds-
electrolytes,
Yeah,
so it keeps you
That's
healthy.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if that works if you're electrolytes, but if you're getting trashed, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, same as the pickle juice with the tequila.
Somewhere specific? Austin? Dallas? Houston? What are you saying?
I don't have to ask those Taste Bud guys. My buddies actually had it on their
we did
show.
their show that one time.
They actually got some. It's Maiden's. I think it's called Maiden's Best is the brewery or something like that. But it's a dill pickle beer, and it's
We should check that out.
yeah,
need
it's
to.
really good.
Maybe we can get the
it's really good.
the wine center to order it.
Yeah, or when we go and hang out with Joe Rogan, we'll do that.
You guys
Yeah,
gonna
our-
hang out with
our-
Rogan?
Yeah,
our
we're totally
buddy-
gonna.
our buddy
Bucket list.
Joe.
Bucket
You know-
list.
you know,
I want to be
our-
on Joe Rogan's show.
Our buddy Joe.
See,
And Joe's a badass
I didn't
too.
qualify it.
Like I mean, he's like
I
a
didn't qualify it.
he's
Good.
legitimately like he's like a multi black belt, and he's a legit
Jiu-jitsu.
badass.
Oh, yeah.
he's the best.
Yeah, he's a legit badass.
We-
He's like the next generation's Chuck Norris.
He's so good, but like better, but
it's true.
better. Does he have a line of pants like Chuck Norris did? My brother had to
He
get.
may.
We were into taekwondo karate when we were kids, and he had to get the Chuck Norris pants that had the extra panel in the crotch, so you didn't split your pants, and they were stretchy.
I saw a
Before
TikTok
stretchy was
the other
cool.
day where this guy was just crying, laughing at Chuck Norris memes.
Yeah.
And I was
You were laughing at him.
dying. I was laughing at him, but the actual memes were also like insane.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Do you guys watch that the TikTok?
Chuck Norris jokes.
I get
a lot.
I get a
he
little-
does.
I
He
get a
does more
little-
than me.
I don't even
Rabbit
have the
hole
app
with it.
installed. My kids are addicted to it.
Yeah.
I get like a message every day from. I mean, I'm in several group chats with buddies, and they send me stuff, and like I don't watch them. I mean, it's like it's got the world by storm, but and there's some funny stuff on there, but some of the stuff's retarded too.
Some of it is
Oh, yeah.
absolutely
It's
stupid.
horrible.
Wait, can you say retarded? Is that politically right?
I don't
You
think you
can on
can.
this show, but I don't think it's
Sorry. Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, well, I got to keep it politically correct.
Not on
You
this
got-
show.
You got some comments?
I got some
Edna?
comments.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Julia's busy. She, do you know Julia Kopp?
I just know the name.
Julia
I don't know
from
that
the
I've
show.
ever met her.
Well, she is the GM of School of Rock up in Kansas City
Oh,
area.
nice,
Yeah,
okay.
so she's like, sorry,
She's been
crazy.
on Jared's show a couple
She has
times.
been crazy busy yet again. All at our all-time high of 142 students, 2 random walk-ins that might sign up to, and
Wow.
needing to hire some more help.
Nice.
And then she says, and I'm filling in on vocals for a cover band up here tomorrow, followed by the Bender Show Saturday, September 10th. Waxy O'Shea's 9 to 1. Join us. So what do we do, Dan?
She promotes her show on our show whenever she can. It's Julia Spam.
So yeah, she said that right there.
That's
I promote my
great.
show right there.
That's great.
And she says, come see who our surprise fill-in bassist will be at the Bender Show.
Sean Monday.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could
Victor
be.
Wooten.
Victor Wooten.
Scott Henry.
Scott Henry, probably.
Oh.
Maybe.
Eric Gwynn.
Eric Gwynn.
Scott Henry is like the man whore of local musicians, like fill-ins. Like,
A little bit.
if he gets a gig, well, they pay him in pennies. Scott's there.
I don't want to say that, but our guest last week, Gene Whedon, is the drummer who does that.
Yeah,
he
he's a
fills
drummer
in for
whore.
everybody, you know? Fuck it. Why not, right?
It's funny, I'm actually playing bass October, I think it's the 8th, 6th to 8th, whatever that Saturday is. I'm actually filling in for Psychobilly Cadillac.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, their bass player.
That would be the 8th.
the 8th, yeah. So they're playing some event in Ozark, I think. So Brock Wade
Yeah.
asked me if I'd play bass, and I said, dude, I haven't played bass in years, but I said, send me a set list. So
Right.
we're going to do it. Last time I played bass was with Brock. We did a tour when he was with McKenna. Right after they came off X Factor, we did a tour with Keith Anderson,
Oh, yeah.
the country singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote Lost in This Moment with You that Big and Rich did. We did a tour with him, like a weekend tour. A lot
love
of
that
fun.
guy.
And he was a super cool dude. And I played bass there. So I'm a drummer, but I said, you know what, I can make do.
Right.
If Scott Henry can do it, I can do
You
it.
can do it.
That's right.
Keith Anderson, he saw my band Bad Habit at the casino at Buffalo Run and gave us a $100 tip in
Did he really?
in the tip jar.
He was a
playing
nice guy.
the big room that night, and he and his band came out And he held up the tip jar. He says, "If I can fucking put money in here, so can you."
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He was fun. He was a super nice
I
guy.
love that song Double XL that he does.
Yeah,
Son, I'm a double XL.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Everybody remembers Picking Wildflowers,
Yep,
but yeah.
that was his big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great song.
And
yeah,
he wasn't a super big star, but he was one of those consistent guys that just put out decent hits and had a good career.
So who's the biggest, let's go celebrity musician wise.
Okay.
Who's the biggest prick that you've ever met?
Oh, wow. This is a good one. The biggest prick.
And do you have a story that goes with it? Because I do have a story.
You'd have to have.
Well,
a
you have
story.
to have a story. You can't
Yeah.
just say someone is that you didn't meet or something. You can't just say like.
I can tell you who mine was.
Okay.
Uncle Cracker.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Absolute douchebag.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why.
Oh, I got one. I got to think of his name now.
Again, this was with
Maybe.
before Brock and McKenna went to X Factor. I mean, I was their original drummer, and we, Brock started his own band at like 18, and then he met McKenna, and they went to X Factor. But before all that, we were just a local band trying to make a name for ourselves, and so we played it was a Colgate Country Showdown. They used to have these things like a talent
I
competition.
hosted one of those as a
Did you?
band in Clinton,
Yeah.
Missouri.
So
one
yeah,
time.
if you won, I think you got like you get some money or
Yeah.
a record deal or something.
Yeah.
And so it was at a fair somewhere in Missouri, and Uncle Cracker was the headliner. So the Colgate Country Showdown was going on, and then he was supposed to do like the main show that night. And so he had been signing autographs, and so we're out there just kind of off the stage, but his bus is like right here, on the street. So he got done signing autographs, and there were this sweet little girl and her mom were just kind of standing there, hadn't cut anybody in line, hadn't made any kind of a sound. They politely waited until everyone had gotten their autographs, and I guess these people had VIP tickets or something. Well, these two people didn't, but they just sat there very politely, and we're watching them. And so Uncle Cracker disappears to his bus, and so they go up and kindly motion the security guy, and they say, "Hey." I can kind of overhear the conversation. And they say, "Yeah, hey, my daughter here, she's a big fan, and we just missed the deadline for getting the VIP tickets, and we're just hoping that maybe we could get an autograph, or she could come out and say hi to him, And so he steps up on the bus, and you see Uncle Cracker kind of step down. He doesn't come out, and he looks at him, and then the security guy tells him the story, and he was just like, get the fuck away from my bus kind of thing.
Oh my
and just
God.
went back. And to that day, I was like, what a prick.
Right.
And then to
Didn't
mention,
take
he
2
was
seconds.
awful live. Like,
Oh, really?
Absolutely awful. And I thought, it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Well, what all did he have? I mean, he had
Yeah.
a couple of big hits.
the
and that was
Follow
it.
Me was the big one.
Yeah, that was a
Right.
good
And then
one.
I think
liked
he
it.
sang he did a cover of Drift Away.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was just, I was like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Like these girls didn't do anything. Like there was the only two people there.
It's a 10-foot walk.
Yeah, how long did it take just to sign it?
Yeah.
But that was the big story. He was a real prick.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one.
Do you?
Yeah. Not a real famous guy, but his dad is. So I'm playing with my band called Midnight Rodeo out on the road. It was a casino in, I believe it was Little Falls, Minnesota, or one of these Minnesota casinos. And they had a big room, just like all the casinos do. We played the bar, and then there was a big room that had a big concert going on. And the concert that night was Merle Haggard. And it was like, okay, this is like the second time I've gotten to peek in and see Merle Haggard live. It was pretty cool. I'm thinking 97, 96, 98, something in that area of year. And so we're playing the bar, which is the stage is up above the bar, which I love those kind of things. And the bar is right here, and then the people. So anyway, at midnight or something like this, we noticed the big redheaded guitar player that played for Merle for years. And I can't think of his name, but I think it was Red something. And he comes walking in, and just because I'm a country fan, I knew who he was, and he sat over there, and he started sipping some whiskey. And I was like, well, that's fucking cool as shit. We got to go talk to him on break.
Yeah.
And so we did. We went over there as a band and just kind of surrounded him. Coolest guy ever. This guy was awesome.
Yeah.
Just talk to us for our whole break. We even went a little late. We're like, oh shit, we got to get back up there. Okay, so we go up and we play our last set. And so in walks this other redheaded guy, and just looks a little bit gnarly. I'm not even sure of who he is or anything like that, but he sits with the guitar player. And I don't know who he is. Introduces himself. Noel Haggard was his name. Merle's son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome, great, high five, that's cool. Thanks for, hey, you have a good voice. Well, the band's cool. He was complimentary and all this shit. And then as the after hours progressed, it was drunker and drunker everybody got. He was really making some moves, if you will, on me. And I was just like, no, I'm with this guy and blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing this, blah, 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 blah. And he he reaches in his pocket. Now, I don't know if this makes him a douchebag, but I already said, no, I'm not interested. But he reaches in his pocket and he goes, and he slides it over. It's his fucking motel key.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there just going, no, thanks. I already, I'm just, and he picks it up and he goes, fucking bitch, and walks out of the bar.
Wow.
I'm just like, what? Like, I didn't do anything but just refuse the precious Noel Haggard.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll call him a prick.
I would say.
That's it. And redheaded guitar player was so chill.
How dare you refuse me?
Right. And redheaded guitar player guy was just sitting there just going, he just, I guess he does this all the time or something. But that was, I would say he's not famous really, but that's the douchiest musician on the road.
Yeah,
I've ever
I'd
met,
say that's a
other
douche
than
move.
just regular band members.
So Dan, how many people have you slid your motel key to?
I don't think I ever did the motel key.
You don't think?
No, I know I didn't. No, I have hotel room number stories, but I've never given someone a hotel key.
So who's the prick that you met? Like
A prick that I've met. I was just sitting here trying to rack my brain while you guys were talking. The dudes in Oasis, both of them.
Really?
Yeah, Liam and Noel, both of them. In fact, I have a story that relates to that little painting over there.
That's behind Lindsay.
But you could do some show and tell.
Right.
But I think I've told that
You
story
have,
before,
but you
haven't I?
haven't told Tyler, and you can reamp that.
Yeah, I would say Liam Gallagher for sure.
From Oasis.
Back in like '96, I was on a tour with a band that played a stadium that was the same stadium that Oasis played the night before. So we actually got there early. It was up in Seattle. We got there early and pulled into the back of the stadium because it was okay for us to park back there because we're playing here tomorrow night. And when we pulled in, the entire back lot is full. And on the marquee in the front of the stadium, it's Oasis tonight. Like, the fuck? We didn't know. We didn't even know. We're just on the road, doing our thing. And we're pulling into this thing and Oasis is playing. So since we're back in the back of the stadium anyway, we were like, let's just go up to the guy at the back door and just ask if it's okay that we hang out. Like, we are legitimately playing here tomorrow, So our drummer goes. He actually gets all access passes to the Oasis show that night. So we just go walking right back into, the corridors. We're in the backstage area where the whole bit before the show even starts. And it was okay for us to be there. And so, anyway, we do the show. We have these little wristbands that allow us to kind of hang out after the show. We go to this little area. We're told like you're gonna get to meet the band. Well, we had run into Liam earlier before they had played. He was just walking around, and Oren, our guitar player, he had one of our CDs, and we totally did the goofy ass new band shit. Like, we go up to Liam and he was like, "Hey, we're a band. We're playing here tomorrow night.
We're a band.
This is our CD.
Give him your shit.
Yeah, give him his shit.
Yeah.
Give him his shit." And he's like, "Well, what is it?" And we were like, "Well, we're a rock band." And he goes, "Just rock, or does it have any roll?" And part of me is like, that was awesome.
Right.
But he was like, "Okay, cool, man, thanks." And he walks off. That's not what made him a dick. Later, we get told that we get to meet the band afterwards, and you get this special wristband, and you go to this special room, and you're going to get to meet the band. We go to the special room, and Anthony Kiedis is there. Chris Novoselic is there from Nirvana. All these fucking hot bitches are there. We're like, sweet, man. We are at the after party. The band's going to walk in at any minute. This is going to be great, and we're all going to party after the show.
Right.
So as we're sitting in this room, these guys, official-looking guys, come in, and they grab like 4 girls, and then they leave the room. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. I guess they didn't want to party. So then these guys come back to the room. They grab like 4 more girls, and they disappear. It's like, it's kind of weird. I don't know why everyone's bailing on the party. 4 more girls gone. Anthony, Chris leave. People are filing out, and it's just my band in this room by ourselves. I'm like, I thought we were going to party. The party was down the hall, and they were coming and getting all these.
Oh, man.
The hot girls.
So then we're just sitting there. I don't know if you've ever been snipe hunting, but it was the same kind of a deal where we're just like, there ain't no fucking party. Like, we're just like five dudes. We're the only dudes that got left in this fucking room.
The good Christian boys.
Yeah, the good Christian boys, because we were playing with Petra the next night. Anyway, so the guy comes down, is like, hey, man, like, whatever.
Party's
We're
over.
like,
Whatever.
fuck you guys, kicking chairs. And then as we're walking back out to our bus, there's these closed doors with giant security guards right in front of each one of them. And you can hear it behind the doors, like, it's like, you fuckers.
Yeah.
So we all go sit on our bus. We're pouting. Like, we thought we were going to party with Oasis. It's like, oh, you sons of bitches. So then we're out on our bus. It's like 4 a.m. now. And all of a sudden we see Noel come out. He's got a girl on each arm. He's coming out. And our bus at the time that we were driving was purple and teal. It looked like something Barbie would drive, or Barney the dinosaur. Bright purple and teal, and all their buses were like gray Prevos, you know. So we just look like this big.
You stand out.
So
Yeah, a little bit.
Noel's walking out, and as soon as he walks up to our bus, we're watching him out our front window. He actually looks at it and just gives this most disgusted look on his face, like, "What is this?" And one of our guys ran out and got his autograph and blah blah blah, and then they left. So then I'm like, okay, the party must be over. I'm going to go fucking back in. I'm going back into the stadium. So I go walking back in, and right when I swing around the corner where the party was, Liam Gallagher is passed out on a couch that's out in the hallway. Out. He is out like a light. And he's laying on this couch, one hand like behind his head, and his other hand is like laying on the floor. And in his hand, he's holding like this little painting. Like a little painting that apparently some girl had, painted, and it was like her dream to get it to Liam, I guess, at this after party. So he's got it in his hand. So I walk past him, and I'm mad at him.
Because you didn't include your band.
You didn't let us party.
You guys didn't get the hookers.
Yeah, so I walked past him, and then I turned around and walked back. I wanted to make sure he was really out. I'm kind of like, hello, my darling, and he's not waking up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get that fucking painting. So I came back kind of right up above his head, so I knew he wouldn't see me. I walked past him one last time, and I leaned down, and I snatched that painting out of his hand. I just walked straight out of the building. I didn't even look back. I was like, if he woke up, I'm just going to hold it in front of me, and I'm going to get the fuck out of here and get back on my bus, which I did. So I don't even know if he woke up or not, but I got it. And it's right there behind
Behind
your
Lizzie,
wife.
that funky painting right there.
That's
yes.
hilarious.
That's the painting.
That's the painting.
Right.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Show
Let's
it to
go to
the
camera
iPad.
4. There it is, right there.
Yep.
That's the funky painting.
Wow. That's incredible.
Isn't that hilarious? So some girl painted that for him.
What's on
but
the back of it? What
I've
does it
got
say? What does it say?
Alyssa Lang, 96.
Alyssa Lang.
Alyssa Lang,
Well, we should look her up.
96.
96.
It's probably some kid that loved Wonderwall.
Hey,
or something.
Alyssa, if you're watching, Liam doesn't have your
He
painting.
doesn't. We do.
That's
do.
crazy.
It's in our studio.
She did a good job, though.
It's a very lovely painting.
She spent a lot of time on
It
that.
was like barely in his fingers because he was passed out.
Wow.
It was just like, doink, took it right out of his
That's
hand.
great.
But it's that
And-
combined with other stories that makes him a big douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a douchebag,
Yeah.
but he's also fucking pretty cool too.
Yeah, well, they're pretty awesome.
I mean, that's the thing we all love and hate about Liam.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
awesome, and he's also a dick.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I can. I guess I can tell the story, but I worked at a magic show in Branson for a little while. And I'm gonna say his name now, and I hope that you know the name Kirby Van Birch.
Oh, yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
I have a Kirby story.
Oh yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
So-
nothing big deal, but
Is there more of that tequila? Can I?
there's, of
So,
course there is.
I used to work. I worked one season for Kirby, and my cousin got me the job. And Kirby had a story in his show where it was a joke, but it was actually the truth. And the joke was he's the only performer in Branson that's touring Branson. And the reason being because he never paid his taxes, so they would always kick him out of a venue, so he'd have to go find a new venue. So I mean, he had like millions of dollars in taxes it was tax evasion. So But I did one season, and I was just a normal run-of-the-mill just volunteer. I would come out and just, I'd hand a prop to him, but then he had his main guy that wore all the leather, and his main assistant in the show. Well, he was leaving, and I wanted the job. And I said, I knew that it paid pretty well. And I said, I can do that. I can wear the leather pants. And there was a couple of, I did a couple of stunts for Kirby. I was his double. I was about the same size as him. So I was a double for a couple of the tricks and stuff. And, which I can't talk about because I signed a lifelong contract. I cannot reveal any secrets. But,
I've put a pin in that because I want to talk about that later.
So
Magic?
Yeah.
So I was, but I wanted the job. So the season's over. And he said, all right, he invited me to his condo. I said, okay.
Kirby did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that was, you didn't get that invite unless, so his manager, stage manager was from New York, very, very flamboyantly gay, And so we go to his condo, and I'm there, really awkward. And I get there, and they've got a jacket. I should have brought it. I wasn't even thinking, but there's a jacket draped over this chair, like a really nice dress, blazer kind of thing.
Sparkly
blazer. It says "Roar" on the back. It's got this huge design, a bunch of diamonds in it. Really nice jacket, and it was for me. Like Kirby had bought it, and it was for me.
Wow.
I still have the jacket. I wear it sometimes, and a really nice jacket. And so I sat down at the kitchen table, and his stage manager's there, and then Kirby comes out, and his whole wall, one whole wall was this giant King Tut painting.
Okay.
Well, come to find out, it was a secret door. So if you took a picture and twisted it sideways, that whole painting would open up, and that led you back to his bedroom.
Oh my God.
So he comes out of his bedroom, right? This whole the whole wall opens up, and he comes out of his bedroom. Basically, I could have the job, but it's the only time in my life I've ever blatantly turned down a three-way because it was one of those things where it was two dudes and me. So I didn't get the job.
But I kept the jacket.
I
kept the jacket.
I did.
He let
I did
you keep the
jacket.
jacket.
I did.
Oh my God.
But I turned down the offer. I didn't get the job.
So the casting couch works for boys too. Look at that.
Fuck yeah. Well, it doesn't work all the time, I
Well,
guess.
if you do it, it
Apparently.
probably
And I called my dad after it happened. I called my dad after it happened because I really couldn't believe it. And I said, I'd always heard stories about Kirby, but I was like, I said, it really kind of freaked me out because I'm I've never blatantly been propositioned basically for well, you can have the job,
right?
But you have to do this. I was like, that's never happened. that was some soap opera shit,
Yeah.
Were they at
Yeah.
least nice because you weren't gay or something? Were they
They were.
oh, okay, I get it.
The stage manager was.
Okay.
I think Kirby was upset. He didn't say. I never
so bummed.
I never talked to him again after that.
Oh boy.
But I'm here trying to have a conversation with them, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a little secret. I am fucking hammered, okay?
At this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am hammered. Right?
Here on our show or with Kirby?
No, with Kirby.
Okay.
With Kirby. No, I'm not hammered here.
Nah, you've been sipping.
But I had all the drinks I could ever want, and I'm hammered. But
Did you drink at his place, or you were hammered before you got there?
No, I pre-gamed
Okay.
because I was
Stressful.
nervous,
Yeah,
and I
sure.
didn't know what to expect, and I had heard stories about Kirby, so I was like, I don't know what I don't know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I pre-gamed before I went.
yeah.
I gotcha.
They offered me a drink there, but I didn't take because I'm like, I don't know what's in it. You know?
No,
I mean,
for
it was
sure.
kind of that thing.
Good for you.
Sure.
And so, but yeah, and it was exactly kind of what I expected, and I was basically propositioned, and I was like, I'll never do business again, so I don't. And come to find out, though, that I guess the season after that, the tiger sanctuary that's in Branson, those are all his tigers that were all confiscated from him.
What's with guys and tigers being gay?
It was
what the hell?
well,
Tiger
he
King
was very good friends with Siegfried and Roy. Is that the two music?
Yes.
Yeah, they had the White Tigers.
Yeah.
He was
attacked one of them.
Yeah, he was very good friends with them, and I mean they were buddies. But yeah, he had a couple of White Tigers, and so I think it was a PETA thing. PETA came in and said they were unsafe living conditions for the animals, which I mean it was a concrete floor.
Yeah.
You know, so they confiscated all of his tigers, and like last I heard, he was either going to prison or was for tax evasion.
Oh.
So
I'll be damned.
so, but yeah, it was just kind of a story that, and I don't think anybody has ever heard that story other than like personal friends of mine. But yeah, it was a story that I thought, you know what, I'll tell it. But it was one of those things where like, yeah, I mean, I was blatantly propositioned.
That's
and
a fantastic story.
I was like, no thanks, you know. I mean,
My story is not nearly enough.
I'm gonna say no because it's you two and me. So.
Yeah.
You know.
I just love that you still have the jacket.
I love that you have the jacket.
I
and
do,
you wear
and I
it
should have brought it.
because it's awesome.
Babe,
right?
you know the black jacket that hangs in our closet that's got the design on the back at the two crowns right here? That's the jacket.
That's the jacket.
Yeah, I should have brought it.
That would have
Yeah.
been good.
It's
show
an
and tell.
awesome jacket, yeah.
Well, you would have never thought in a million years we'd get into that story.
No
Nope,
apple pie
but
there.
I just it made me think of pricks, and I thought, what a prick.
A couple of them.
Yeah. But hey, I got a free
You got a free
probably
sweet
$200
ass-
jacket
more
out of
than
it,
that.
at least.
I
yeah.
would say it was more than that.
So-
my Kirby story is not nearly as entertaining. It was just I was doing this talent contest at Crocky's in Branson
Okay.
back when Crocky's existed. What a cool nightclub that was.
Okay.
We're talking early 90s, so 94ish. Anyway, long story short, he was one of the judges on the finals. And
Kirby was?
I made the finals out of weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of contesting.
Yeah.
There were 144 original contestants, and I made it to the top 10.
Wow.
So, yay. Awesome. Cool. I was 24 years old, 25, whatever.
Yeah.
Long story short, he was one of the judges that night. So was Rich Little, and so was Glenn Campbell's daughter, oddly enough, interestingly
Rich
enough.
Little. Why do I know
Rich
that
Little,
name?
he's way back in the 70s and did impersonations.
Okay.
So if you look him up, anyway,
Okay.
I later opened up for him in Joplin, but that's
Glenn
a whole
Campbell's daughter is Ashley, right?
I can't remember her name, but
I think it's
maybe,
Ashley.
She was
Yeah.
super awesome. Anyway, so I ended up getting third place and won a little bit of money, but that's not the point. My point was I had seen these billboards of Kirby Van Birch all these years and how cute he was and how
A lot of plastic surgery.
and how he looked 20 something. Man, when I saw him in person,
Yeah.
even in 94, he must have been like 50 something.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, "What?"
Yeah, no, he has a lot of Botox, a lot of plastic surgery.
He did look like plastic surgery, but
Yeah.
he still looked he looked like that lady that you would see that tans too much and it has had too much, but a guy. And he was super nice. I mean, all of them were super nice, but that's my Kirby story.
He
Like,
was the experience was cool.
Yeah.
As far as
Working there.
because before I got the job, I mean like they gave me like front and center like the best seats you could get for the show.
That's cool.
I watched it.
Yeah.
And his big trick like that his claim to fame was he would make a full-size helicopter
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah.
In like a matter of seconds.
What'd you say, Dan?
I saw that trick.
Live at the show?
And
Okay.
so I think it was the queen of somewhere, some other country named him the Prince of Magic. Like
Yeah.
he did that trick, and he went by the Prince of Magic.
Yeah.
And so when I got the job, and I saw how all those tricks were done, like I felt you feel really stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like everything that you think is what's happening is not.
It's not.
And so that was cool. Getting to see all that was neat.
But it kind of makes you sad because now you know how magic works, and it's
Yeah.
like,
No, it totally ruined magic for me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like anything.
exactly.
My parents like to watch that Penn and Teller's thing.
Yes.
Like, can you fool Penn and
Oh,
Teller?
I love that show.
And some of that stuff is cool, but magic, it doesn't really impress me because I know how a lot of it's done.
right.
But it was the experience was really neat. I wouldn't trade it. But it was unfortunate that,
And
it
to
ended
the-
like that.
Yeah, it is.
Because I thought, and this I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
Just
your business.
just leave me alone.
Right.
Like I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of one of those things where like they were very open and blunt about it, and I was kind of blown away. Like, man, like that's pretty ballsy to just,
Yeah. Actually spend the time to bring you to the condo. That's like, I mean,
Well, and the crazy thing was they tried to have a driver to drive me over there, but I drove myself.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, no, I want to be
even
able
if
to
you were
leave.
hammered.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I want to be able to leave.
Good for you. You kind
And
of
so-
you already had a notion.
I did, because I knew somebody that knew him years ago and had told me stories, and I thought, well, I tend to make my own assumptions about people.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But I said, well, I'm going to find
I'm
out.
gonna be
and,
safe here.
I mean, and it was. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, where they wanted to drive me there, where I couldn't
Like
leave.
I'm not gonna be locked in.
Yeah. So it was definitely, so I didn't get the magic job, but
Oh, but okay.
it's a bummer.
It's a good story though.
I didn't, he showed me the disappearing wiener trick, I've seen that before.
That's magic.
It's magic. Do you have a Kirby story?
No.
Julia has one. And I haven't,
Julie has a Kirby
I haven't
story?
read this, but I'm going to put it up there.
My wife loves the disappearing wiener trick too. And, yeah, she loves that trick. She loves it.
Well, we'll just keep that a
She's
secret.
like, I knew I shouldn't have come.
Julia says, fun Kirby story. I waited on him at a record store in Springfield years ago. I said I liked his show, and I asked him which theater it was in that year, and his answer was at the Kirby Van Birch Theater. My inner monologue was, that could be any of like 8 theaters. No, really, what's the address of where you are now? I have no idea what he meant.
I used to remember the address, but I forgot it. But yeah, no, it was. And
But that's so funny, though.
that theater now, like, how many millions of dollars it cost to build it, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like,
That's where I saw him.
taxpayers paying money, and it just sits there.
Yeah.
When I saw him, it was the Kirby Van
Yeah.
Birch.
Was it off of
was-
off of 264, and it had like it was like the purple sign,
I think so, yeah.
and that was where that was it.
Before you actually get kind of into Branson, like where the Home Depot and shit is.
Yeah, like how you got there was if you took the side where there by Yakov,
Yep.
and
yep.
went around back there.
That's where I saw
Yeah,
him.
that's where it was at. And then I think after that, I saw him when I was a kid, when he had like black hair, like when he was young. He was at the Palace, I think, or
The Grand Palace? In
no,
Branson?
it's called the Palace. I think it was the White House Theater, maybe is what it was
okay.
called. But like it was right off of the main strip as you come into town. Like you could see it had big blue letters said Kirby like straight ahead.
Oh, right, right.
But then he moved over to where he was at, and then after that whole deal happened, I think he just had he had a show in like the lobby or in like a hotel, like I mean some little dinky thing, and then he just
wow.
fizzled out after that. His wife divorced him.
His wife?
Which was that was a total cover up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, that was she was a gold digger. I mean,
Right.
honestly,
Right, right.
she's super nice, but
Maybe,
she was there.
maybe it was an arrangement.
Yeah, she was there for the money, and then she left, and then said he went belly up and got his animals taken, and
I'll be damned.
So
Yep.
where is Kirby now? Maybe our Screamer Dreamer
Don't know.
medication information can find that out. Where the hell is Kirby Van Birch now? Where is he now?
I don't know, but he's got to be 70 now.
Easy.
I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I love to smoke cigars, and Kirby's actually the one that started that. 'Cause he was always smoking a cigar, like not a big one, but like a little cigarillo type thing. Always smoking one, and it smelled really good. And I thought, what is that? And every time he'd go in his dressing room to whatever, talk to him, whatever, he was always puffing on one. And so I would go pick up his cigars. He'd run out, and then he would send me or whoever to go get them. And Acid is the brand. I was telling buddy he was smoking acid, but Acid cigars, and to this day I still love. But he's the one that got me into smoking cigars because I thought, man, it smelled so good.
Yeah.
But I used to go get his cigars, and then that stopped. Yeah, after I said I left after that whole fiasco. So
That's a good reason.
I
to
don't know
leave.
where that story came from or why that. But we got on topic about because he was
We
a
were
prick.
talking
We were
about
talking about
dicks.
pricks.
Yeah, pricks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
We're talking about pricks in entertainment. There you
But
go.
it does lead me to a question. This has been one of my, we have a friend in St. Louis who's a magician. He's a super cool guy. He does a lot of sleight of hand stuff, does a lot of walk around magic too. He does do shows. He's not on the level of like Kirby, but as far as like big theater and all that, but he's more of kind of like he's like a magician you can hang out with. Like, in fact, we're going to probably have him on our show eventually. He's going to come down. He's a cool dude. Anyway, that's my whole thing has been like, especially with the internet and the way life has gone in the last 20 years, how in the ever loving fucking God is magicians keeping their secrets? I
I don't know.
can't believe that they're not exposed. Like, it's like a deal with the devil or something.
I don't know and I'm guilty. I mean, I've told some people how Kirby does some stuff just because I was kind of pissed after everything happened.
Right.
But I don't know how, honestly, that he wasn't exposed, especially with the way that he treated people.
Sure.
I don't know how. The only magic trick that has thoroughly impressed me was it was in Hot Springs, Arkansas. There's a magician there, and I cannot think of his name now, but he did a trick. It was the last trick of the show, and he said he literally had every magician on the globe wanting to buy this trick from him. And he's like, nah, he's like, because my kids are going to retire from it one day. I mean, he had the patent on it, and he took those little cans of cheese dip you get for like Fritos, like the little Frito-Lay can of cheese dip. Okay, he had that. It was completely sealed. Okay, and I mean, I'm sitting front row. I mean, like from me to Tara from this guy.
Right.
And he, at the start of the show, he asked anybody if they had $100. So he took a $100 bill, and he ripped it in half. Okay. And then he sets it in this candle, and it's burning. Like the whole show, this $100 bill is burning. Okay. And so at the very end of the show, he gets this thing of cheese dip. And I mean, and it's sealed.
Yeah.
And he does this whole spiel. Well, he pops the seal on the cheese dip. I mean, pulls it off. There's cheese on his hand. And inside the bottom of it, in one piece, is that guy's $100 bill, the same serial number, and it's in one piece.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
That, I have no idea.
That's magic.
And he said, I mean, he had everybody. I mean, David Copperfield wanting to buy this trick, and he wouldn't sell it. Because, like, no, my kids are going to retire from it. But that was the one trick that I was like,
how the hell?
yeah. Like, I mean, because this was a sealed can of cheese.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the possibilities of, what could happen. Like, I mean, there was no hole in the bottom of it. I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
I don't know how, but that one I was like, okay.
Yeah.
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 It's just wild.
But I don't know how that some of Kirby's tricks.
I mean, just I know that some of them have been exposed. I mean, we've some of the basic bitch shit, like cutting a woman in half and things like that.
Yeah.
But some of it's amazing to me that everyone is like respecting the fact that they want to keep these secrets, because there's got to be people that know. Like this magician friend of ours, he had an assistant for a long time that was actually his wife.
It was his wife. Yeah.
And they got divorced. And I'm just like, she
knows everything.
She knows how he did shit.
He
she
cut
used
her
to
in
do
half
shows with
multiple
him.
times.
Yeah.
Why does she still just not tell anyone?
And
It's
I
like-
think
Maybe
Kirby,
there's a major contract.
I
or
think
something.
Kirby's thing honestly was a big scare tactic.
Yeah.
Because I remember signing the contract, and I mean, and it basically said, from 5 years after I left Kirby, I was not allowed to work for any other magician for 5 years. But then for a lifetime, I was not revealed to reveal anything. And probably not now because he owed so much money anyways. He probably wouldn't have sued. But I mean, I was 19 years old.
Sure.
I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna get sued for millions of dollars if I accidentally reveal something and somebody tells and he finds out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
I don't know.
And I don't think it's an asshole move for that. But I
No.
mean, they've got to.
Yeah.
I can understand why they would do that. I just can't believe with as many people on Earth and with the internet, with TikTok, with all these
Yeah.
things, Facebook. I can't believe there's not more people that are just like, oh fuck it, I'm going to tell you how they did it.
Yeah.
Even if I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Or is it some kind of like you will get killed? Like I don't know. Like people keep their secrets. It's
Kirby,
amazing.
and I don't know.
to me.
And I said I don't
Could
mean to
be.
just
It could
just dog on the guy, but Kirby had a lot of secrets, had a lot of enemies. He also was in with a lot of people. So I mean, I don't know if he had somebody he had a hitman or something. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I just never told anybody because number one, I mean, I get it. Like if you've worked hard your whole life and that's your craft, I mean, I'm not going to be the asshole that reveals it.
Well, yeah.
Right.
But it was just but you think somebody, he would have made somebody mad and they would have told.
Yeah, and outside of Kirby, I just mean like globally, it's amazing that I can't just YouTube like
David Copperfield.
Yeah.
Although this, I don't know if this is public knowledge, but maybe some of you don't know. I know how David Copperfield, because David Copperfield was big time buddies with Kirby. Never got to meet him, but David Copperfield has a twin brother,
Oh.
like an identical twin. So that's how he does some of his disappearing and appearing. Because I saw David Copperfield once in Branson, and he disappeared on the front of the stage. And in like 3 seconds, he was behind us in the back of the auditorium. I mean, not possible.
I think I saw that on X Factor.
And so but he has a twin brother. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
This guy we were talking about, Keith. He met David Copperfield when he was like 16, and then just met him again like
Couple years
5
ago
years ago or something.
That guy's
and
got to be getting old too.
has
though.
matching pictures like the
Oh, that's
16-year-old
cool.
guy,
Yeah,
and
that's-
Copperfield looks the same.
I saw Copperfield in St. Louis, and he came out into the
It's a
crowd.
great show.
Yeah, it is. He came out into the crowd. I actually have a huge David Copperfield story. But aside from that, he came out into the crowd and he laid a rose on his hand. And I was actually seated pretty close to the front. So I'm watching the big jumbo screens or whatever because I didn't want to break my neck trying to find him in the crowd. So I'm watching him on that thing. He's got a camera guy following around. And he laid that rose on his hand, and then the rose just came up out of his hand, and it was just floating in midair like this. And I saw it on the screen. Then, of course, I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like trying to find him, and he's right, an aisle, probably, 20 rows away from me in the aisle. And I was looking right at that rose floating in midair, and he's doing the like above and beyond it. And I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a pretty impressive trick.
that's a good trick. Off stage too, so there's no
Maybe it's got tiny little.
tiny little fibers.
Tyler already knows how
Yeah.
he did it, but I don't want to know.
No,
They
Had tiny little
my dad
jet
has a
engines in
crazy.
it.
My dad has a crazy magician story. Like the one, they went to Vegas. I mean, like early '90s, and saw a magician. His name was Ayala, or something. And so my dad and mom, where they were on their honeymoon, they were sitting front row, and this guy came over and he took off my dad's wedding ring, and then a total stranger woman that was sitting next to my dad,
oh yeah,
and he took both of their rings and interlocked
Keith
them.
does this trick.
Like
Our
and
friend does this trick.
interlocked them.
Yep.
And my dad still talks about like he has no. I mean, it was his. Obviously, didn't have a slit in his ring.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, and they were interlocked, and they sat there and pulled on him and could not get him apart.
And actually gave him back to Keith
gave
does
it
this
back
trick.
to him.
I think so. Yeah.
was
And
just
then
like, what?
and they handed it back to him. And my dad said they pulled and couldn't get him apart, and then he just took him back and separated him and handed him back. And my dad still to this day says he was mind blown at that.
Right.
Yeah,
That to me that one's crazy.
yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Because how many people's rings are the same? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of plain gold bands. Okay, but what if it has your engraved name inside?
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know. It'd be nuts though.
it's crazy.
F a bunch of that.
It's all good. I love it.
Crazy.
Freaking good.
Nobody. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, comments, anything like that? We got a 6 or 7 watching.
She said something about Victor Wooten, Julie.
Yeah, let me go back to there. And she also sent a picture that I want to talk about too. She said back when we were talking about bass players, she goes, "Oh my God, we had Victor Wooten speak and play for us at the School of Rock Manager Conference
That was
in
awesome.
Austin this year. Life changing. Spoiler alert: he is not the surprise bass player for this weekend." And then she also, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pop this up here. This is her husband, dressed as Chuck Norris. Just for shits and giggles, this is her husband dressed as Chuck Norris. This
That's
is Julie. This is
awesome.
Stephen Cobb. Look at him. Look at him.
That's
what the hell
pretty
has he got?
good.
What kind of notes are all over him? Like, what is that? Is it all the Chuck
I don't know,
Norris
but
jokes
you know what that makes me want to do?
ever?
That's good stuff.
In the eyes of a ranger,
Right?
an unsuspected stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right.
So good. He's got-
Cause the eyes of a ranger are upon you. And anything you do, he's gonna see.
I kind of think that lady's breastfeeding back there behind there in that picture.
That's
is she-
embarrassing. I know all the words to that, isn't it? Walker, Texas Ranger.
Right?
Man.
It's great.
That's pretty good costume.
I know, it's great. And I think I would guess it's probably jokes pinned all over him. I don't know if you're Julie, if you're watching. I know you're busy, but
You should have kept it up while he was singing the theme song.
yeah, you always tell me to take it down. So I
When
took-
No,
you're
I
in
don't.
Texas,
No, I
look
don't.
behind you, because that's where the Ranger's gonna be. So great.
Because that's where the Ranger is going to be.
Speaking of shows, though, my favorite show starts tomorrow, season 5,
Of-
Cobra Kai.
Oh, I haven't made it through like
Great,
3 episodes of
great
season
show.
1.
Great show. And then Yellowstone starts back in November.
Haven't seen that one either.
You should. I don't.
Yeah,
if
we
you're,
haven't caught
We
up
haven't
on those
seen
two.
Stranger
I'm
Things.
not much of a show guy, but the 2 best shows on TV are Cobra Kai and Yellowstone. Is phenomenal show. Phenomenal. And I found out what Kevin Costner makes per episode, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like he's making, I think they said $500,000 an episode.
Huh.
I mean, that'd be pretty good money to pull down.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on
That's,
season.
that's pretty good money.
They're on season 5. I think they have 10 episodes.
Shit.
So I mean that's
Bro.
pretty, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good money.
Cobra Kai. We watched. Well, I did. I think I watched a
That's
few
a great
episodes of it.
show.
And I don't like to watch stuff without him. And when he falls asleep, I'm like, all right, just turn it off.
Right.
But then we watched all of Breaking Bad 7 years after the show was over.
Yeah, that was one I tried to watch. I couldn't get into that one.
Oh, we totally got
Couldn't get
into it.
Of course, I'm still trying to get through Ozark.
Oh, see, that's one of our favorites.
I'm-
Yes.
Yeah, which I just saw a news story on KY3, like right before we started the show tonight, that body parts have been found under a boat dock at Lake of the Ozarks.
Interesting, right?
Human remains.
So here's something
Fuck
that
around.
here's something I saw today. No shit, in the state of Illinois. Okay, and there's a story behind this, but in the year 2023, so in just a few months, the state of Illinois released a series of criminal offenses that can be pardoned with probation. In other words, you can commit this offense and can get probation.
I saw this.
One of them is second-degree murder.
What?
Yeah, I saw this.
There's arson, burglary, robbery, second-degree murder, a bunch of others, and you can go to court and make bail and just have to do probation. You can kill somebody,
So it's equal to 1 DUI.
pretty much, for next year in the state of Illinois. And I don't know how many police officers have quit or are quitting because of that.
Well, yeah.
But you know, I was a police officer for 3 years, and
Fun fact.
I did
There you go.
in most of my time in Hollister. But you know, I sympathize with them because you work your ass off to make a case.
Mm-hmm.
You arrest somebody who's a repeat offender, and you make a case, and stay up late nights to try to get everything to make a case, and then they get let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because there's I saw also on KY3. There's a lady that was murdered in Max Creek, Missouri, back in I forget what year. I think it was very early '90s. Who she worked at a convenience store, and two guys. One of them was 15 at the time. Waited for her outside, and so she called her son and said, "Hey, there's a strange man waiting for me outside. Can you run up here while I close the store?" So by the time her son could get just down the street, like, she was gone.
Oh.
And like her coat was still in the window, like, I mean, she was just gone. The cash register was open. Anyways, her body was found 2 days later in the Niagara River, which is like right down the road from my parents' house. And I think it was late 80s, early 90s, but it was, you know, I was very little. And anyways, one of those gentlemen is dead. The other one got released today.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
30
Literally today.
he did 30 years in the state and got released today. And here's the kicker, is that he was sentenced to life without parole.
Right.
Okay. So he get released today, and I don't know if it was by coincidence on purpose, but he is moving right down the street from her son,
Oh, my God.
a lady that he killed.
That
And so
shouldn't
her
be
son is online, is asking for all kinds of help because he says, "I'll kill him."
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, and I mean, if someone killed my mom and then 30 years later supposed to be sentenced to life without parole and then gets out,
And then
I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing.
Right.
And
Two
Rue's
doors
right
down.
next to you.
Right, right.
Was this the one that was 15?
Yeah, he
Okay.
was 15 at the time.
Yeah, I've
And
got a similar story.
So he's been in there 30 years, got life without parole. But the issue is our current government, pardoned him,
Mm-hmm.
and so he got released today.
Well, there's a stipulation too. So back in 1984, there was a triple murder in Hartville, where I went to high school. I was in 7th grade, and one of the kids killed was my brother's best friend, one of his best friends. And the girl I sat next to in band, she was 13 also, and then the kid's stepmom. So this kid killed his stepmom, his brother, and his stepsister, and was trying to kill his father when he came home, and the father got the shotgun away. Okay, so this was 1983. I think it was 83, not 84. And I'm going to say it, his name is Jason Carr. And he, for the same reason, he was 17 when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
He did all this time in prison and was just released in 2020, March of 2020.
It's crazy.
And it's like on a stipulation of youth, because back
Mm-hmm.
then he got life in prison, no parole. But that wasn't they found out it wasn't constitutional or something in 1983. Like now it might be different. I don't know, but he was also released after 30 some years.
Such bullshit, though. I think the excuse of, they were aged, or a lot of people use they were mentally incompetent to stand trial.
Right.
I think that's bullshit.
I know,
because
it's
I'm
hard
like,
to-
no, they were fully aware of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think that's just that these prosecutors or whatever, or defense attorneys, like they get off on like, well, we'll try to get them a lesser sentence, to mental conditions. Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody is that mental, like, they can plan the whole thing out, premeditated, know exactly what they're doing. It ain't. It's not a mental thing.
This was 100% premeditated.
I just think that's a bullshit excuse.
Sure.
I do too.
Sure.
It's a fault in the justice system.
It's definitely because I listen to so much true crime. I'm a big true crime
Yeah.
fan, and I hear so many of these defense attorney things trying to twist it as a mental illness. And you can talk to Paul Tomlinson all day long about mental illness and everything, but anybody who kills anyone has to be a little bit mental. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
You can go get divorced. You don't have to kill somebody.
Right.
There's something else that's clicked in your head that thinks that's going to be easier. So anytime that they use this excuse of mental illness, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's set a precedent and let them go.
Well,
I don't like that at all.
my family has a really personal story about that. Just the loopholes in the justice system. And there's my dad's best friend, and they don't watch the show, but I know that my dad wouldn't care if I shared the story. But my dad's best friend is in prison. He's been in prison for I think 20 years now, maybe. Got sentenced to 27 and a half initially. The story boils down to got a divorce from his wife. And now, let me preface this by saying that this guy was in a Christian band with my dad. They played in churches, toured all over the place, playing Christian music. Was one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. Gets a divorce from his wife. She, in turn, brainwashed their 18-year-old daughter into making this big lie that he videotaped her having sex with a black male, her being underage, and his ex-wife then slept with the prosecuting attorney. And he's completely innocent and got 27 and a half years.
Huh.
And my dad talks to him every day on the phone. And just that he tells me stories of the shit he's been through in prison. Because, if you go into prison as a sex offender,
Sure.
you don't get treated very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's had to endure all this stuff. And the man's totally innocent. Now, I know that, everybody says they're innocent, but legit innocent. It's just there are so many loopholes in the justice system that money,
They just want that
sex
conviction.
can buy you anything you want.
Mm.
It can buy you anything you want.
Disgusting.
And it's just, he's finally got a release date. It's supposed to get, I think, 2027. But, it's unfortunate because he's wasted half his life.
Yeah.
In jail and for something because he got a divorce.
And I've heard people get 27 years. I've heard people get out at half, and he should be out already.
Yeah, no, but they've made sure that, and that his attorney told him initially, if you plead guilty,
Right.
take a plea bargain,
Yeah.
you'll get an early release.
But he didn't want to admit it.
Well, that didn't happen. Well, so he took it.
Oh,
He's
did
like,
he?
well, okay. He's like, there to
Fuck
think,
it.
he's like, whatever.
Right.
Basically, he's like, if I got to suck the system's dick, I'll do it.
Oh,
Right,
man.
right.
So he did, and then
Still-
he still didn't get out early. So it's just it's just kind of one of those things that,
And there was no videotape.
no, there's nothing.
They didn't
There's
produce this
no-
videotape.
There is no evidence of anything.
Yeah.
No proof, no nothing.
That's gross.
So now his daughter has had the audacity to. She wrote, and his mom now is like 80 something, who will probably die before he gets out. So she's devastated. But his daughter has had the audacity to to write her and apologize. And so my dad's friends basically disowned her. Like, what daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't say I blame him.
Sure.
tough.
for doing that.
Sure.
So there's a lot of the justice system is, and that's why that I got out. And I know a lot of people that are retiring from law enforcement that I was in with. And there's days I miss it, but you couldn't pay me enough to go back now.
Right.
Right.
There's just so much bullshit, and you can get away with anything you want.
Yeah.
If you got money,
Especially if you live in California.
It don't matter.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I said now they're doing that in Illinois. I was like, well, you can go set somebody's house on fire and just have to do some probation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I saw that same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why are we sucking criminals' dicks? Jesus Christ! I'm so sick of this.
You know,
Dumb.
I'll keep my personal politic opinions to myself, but you can't tell me that. I said that our government right now, there's just so many loopholes in things, and if you do the digging, you can find it. It's money. Money can buy you anything you want.
Yep.
Buys you anything
Money.
you want.
Money.
Well, you said you grew up with your dad playing music and all that stuff. So you just kind of got into it just to kind of get into some of that. And how did you go from a little bit of a musical upbringing to being a cop? I don't know if I knew you were a cop.
Yeah. So, I mean, music's my whole family on both sides. On my mom's side and my dad's side. My uncle, which my wife will tell you is my real biological dad. Apparently, we look just alike. My uncle, my mom's younger brother, has one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. I mean, just he went to UMKC to play drums. He majored in percussion. That's who taught me to play drums. But I mean, just can sing anything. You guys have probably heard of Studio 54. They're a 70s funk band that plays around town. He sings with them. Palin Music, my cousin Shelly Palin married Brett, who's the owner of Palin. So Palin's is my family.
Oh, okay.
They're my second cousins.
Okay.
So music's been my whole family. When I was 3, I just started singing. I think my first time on stage ever was at 3. I sang Great Balls of Fire at 3. I know it's probably a cliche, but I was always just beating on pots and pans as a kid. Anything I could get my hands on, I was just beating on them.
Right.
And so at 5, I started trying to take some drum lessons, you know. And then at 9, I got my first real kit. It was a Slingerland 3-piece set.
Nice.
And here's what you guys don't know. In 95, I'd have been 8 years old. My parents and I went on a 20-state tour. It was called the Bureau of Lectures. It was basically like this gospel ministry that we did, but we toured 20 states. I was homeschooled that entire year. And my parents bought a brand new van, and we did 20 states, and we played schools for assemblies, handicap facilities, churches. Anyway, 20-state tour.
Was there like a group, or it was literally just your mom and dad?
It was me and my mom and dad, and we were called the 3 Weeks. I mean, that's literally it was.
And
it.
you played?
And I played.
At 8?
My dad played guitar,
great.
my mom played bass, and I played drums.
Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome.
I played 300 shows at 8 years old,
Wow.
Gosh.
and we played 20 states.
Nice.
So, I mean, I had grinded my teeth pretty early.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have, now there's pros and cons to that. I have pretty much been in the spotlight since I was 8 years old. My parents were always putting me in things. I tried out for American Idol at 16. I did all that because my mom and dad wanted me to do it.
Right.
So it's always been my life. And in 98, I went to Springfield Little Theater here in town and thought I'd try my hand at a play. Mm-hmm. They were doing a musical. They were doing Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist.
Nice.
And there was one other person that auditioned for the role of Oliver who I beat. Do you know who that person was?
In 96.
This is
98?
98.
This person is now Disney star Lucas Grabeel from
Really?
High School Musical. So I beat him out of the role. He was the Artful Dodger. So then I'd have been 11, and we did that ran for 3 weeks. And then after that was over, Lucas and I we're pretty close during that time. And so I just recently saw him a couple of weeks ago when he did his concert at Springfield Little Theater.
Yeah.
There's pictures of my face, and he remembered who I was.
Oh, that's cool.
And we hugged, and it's really cool. But to answer your question, so I've always been to music. I've played music my whole life, but it didn't pay the bills. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Right. Right.
But I was a white kid from the Ozarks, and it was like could be put in the right place at the right time. I guess my biggest claim to fame was at 6. I opened for Eddie Rabbit at 6. He came to Lamar. My dad was on the fair board at the time, and so they had Eddie Rabbit played the concert at the Lamar Fair. And so I got up and did Great Balls of Fire at 6, and there's a picture of me with him with my little cowboy hat on. He was a super nice guy. And so I got a job as a 911 dispatcher. So I started looking elsewhere for real jobs. I thought, well, obviously the music thing is a pipe dream at this point. So I better, get an actual job. And I'd done a lot of things. I mean, I worked in a factory. It wasn't for me. So I got a job as a 911 dispatcher.
Interesting.
And I did that wasn't very good at it. I mean, I just, I wasn't.
Wasn't very good at it.
I'll be the first to tell you was not very good at it. But during that time.
Not that I care, but 911, what's your emergency? I don't fucking care, but whatever.
I was not very good at it.
I mean, how do you
know.
not be good at...
Hold on.
Well,
drop the phone.
Hold on.
It was.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't that. It was.
I need the police now. Hang on. What? Hang on. What?
It wasn't the fact that I was inconsiderate. It was the fact that there's in Dallas County, there's like 5 different fire departments.
Right.
And you have to know which one covers which area.
Oh, okay.
And so when someone calls with a fire, there was a lot of information. I just wasn't very good at it. It wasn't the fact that I was inconsiderate.
So apathetic. Okay, hang on.
It's still funny. There's a fire down the street. Call Bolivar.
Oh, Bolivar. Jeez.
So,
I don't care. Call Joplin.
What fucking kid sent us to Lamar?
so during that time, this turned into a goddamn roast.
But just the way you said, I wasn't very good at it.
I wasn't.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, apathy.
Okay.
I mean, this is the guy that threw my friend's ashes in the trash.
Yeah, sue
Right.
me.
So,
What do we expect?
but during that time, I became friends with the local police officers. And so I did a ride along one day, and I said they encouraged us to do a ride along so we could kind of see, what they go through on their end of things.
Sure.
So I did a ride along one day, and I was hooked. And I thought, every kid at some point has played cops and robbers,
Sure.
or has had that dream. And I was hooked. I rode with him all day. We made traffic stops, and I was like, this is cool. So I applied for FAFSA student loan, and so I started looking at, what can I do to get into this? So I applied for student loan, which just got forgiven. Thanks.
I was just going to say.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
And so anyways, I applied for a student loan and got all that approved. And so I went to jury, actually, here for their law enforcement academy, which was 5 months. It was full-time. You could go part-time or full-time. Part-time was like a year, but you could still have a job during that time. Full-time was, it was like 5 days a week, all day, but you were done in 5 months. So I went full-time. I was living with my grandparents at the time. So went through the 5-month academy, and like the week after I graduated, I had a job. Loved it. I was good at it. It was I was a littler guy, but I was good at it. The state of Missouri paid me a lot of money to learn how to talk to people. Mm-hmm. To de-escalate things. So, I did it about 3 years. I started in Hickory County, which just past where I live, and then I moved to Clinton for a little bit, and then they had some shit hit the fan there. So. Those were sheriff's departments, but I really wanted to work city PD.
Right.
So then I got a job at Hollister, moved to Branson, loved it. And I was there 3 years. Like I said, and then I just started seeing like I was busting my ass, making nothing.
Right.
And people were just getting let off. And I
Right.
thought, like, this isn't
What's
worth
the
it.
point?
It's
Yeah.
not
What's
worth
the
it.
point of me doing this?
So, and I could go to Walmart, and make more money.
Right.
And I'll just tell you, this was in, 2017 is when I left. In 2017, after 3 years, I was making less than $12 an hour.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God dang.
And so, it just wasn't worth it.
No,
Sure.
of course
At that
not.
point. And
Sure.
so I left, I don't know, it's probably been 2 years ago now. I kind of had a wild hair and talked to her about trying to get back in it. And she's like, she's like, I don't think that's a good idea, And she's like, because one, I like having you around, but two, the money's not there.
Yeah.
Well, the
And
money,
now with the way things are, so I miss it.
The respect isn't there either.
No, it's not. And it's like anything else. Someone has a bad experience with a law enforcement officer. We're all bad.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so, I give people the benefit of the doubt 90% of the time. I stop people from marijuana all the time. But my thing was, well, if you're honest with me about it, I'm not going to write you a ticket. I'm just going to take it, but I'll let you go on your way. No ticket, no nothing. I was more
take it and then smoke it.
I was after the. I didn't do any of that either. But I was after the hardcore drugs.
Right.
But people had a bad experience, and they automatically just treat you like shit because you wear a badge.
And the bad
And
experience could be your own choice.
And so
You know?
Yeah.
and a lot of times, and I'm not saying there's not bad cops. I get it.
Yeah.
I know they're out there.
Sure.
There's guys that have inferiority complexes that wear a badge and they have a sense of power
Yeah.
and they abuse it. I get that. But 99% of the time, if you just do what you're told to do,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you have nothing to worry
It
about.
goes fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and in that 3 years, I saw my fair share of bad shit. And so, stuff that I don't talk about that I live with every day. So in 3 years, I saw my fair share. I can't imagine guys that are in 30 years, what they've had to deal with.
Right.
But I was for 3 years. I did enjoy it. If I drive by and see an officer on a traffic stop, I still kind of jones a little bit for it. But at the end of the day, I said you couldn't pay me to go back now.
Right.
It's just
Right.
it's not worth it.
Even if the money was good.
No. They'd have to pay me. Honestly, they'd have to pay me $100 an hour.
Right.
Right.
To go back.
And
now.
they should.
And they should.
They should. They really should. And even said when I left, I was making pennies on the dollar. But even now, they're not paying nothing.
Right. Right.
You can walk. McDonald's is paying $15 an hour now
I know.
to flip burgers.
It's weird between the law enforcement and education. It's just why teachers out there are also making less than
No.
McDonald's.
Teachers, I think anything in public service, they don't get what they should.
Uh-uh.
Paramedics, teachers, they don't make what they should.
Yeah.
So, and I've thought about going into business for myself, but again, I wouldn't know where to start. And there's a lot of things. I've been an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of things, and I beat myself up. There's a lot of things I don't know how to do. But then there's places out there that they say, well, we can't hire you because you have no experience. Well, how the hell are you supposed to get
that's
experience?
the point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I was going to go build cabinets.
Right.
Well, we can't hire you because you don't know how to build a cabinet.
Like no shit, Sherlock.
Why do you think I'm looking for a job?
Right.
And
No.
that's
some of the best employees I ever had were people that came in like that.
Yeah,
And I
because
was
you
just
can because you can train them the way you want them.
Yeah, yeah, and they were amazing. If it was just somebody who had that desire to learn, and the skill came with the practice, it was like I never turned people away because they didn't have experience. In fact, the worst employees I ever had were the ones that came in and be like, "I've been doing this 30 years." Like,
Yep.
oh God, we're gonna have issues with this guy.
Yep.
I hated those.
Yep, and they said, people learn bad habits and they bring their bad habits with them. But if
Yeah.
they start with a fresh slate,
Yeah,
then
that's
you
even
can
better.
train them how you want.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
Do you have any 911 dispatcher stories that stand out, or was it all pretty boring?
When I was a dispatcher, it was pretty boring. Although, in my training, they did tell me a story. The lady whose job that I took, why they were hiring, she got the job, and literally her first day, she got a call. A lady's husband shot her on the phone.
Oh, geez.
Like her first day, she took a call, and the first call she took was this lady was barricaded in her bedroom, and she said, "My husband is crazy. He's trying to kill me. He's got a gun." And then she heard like a gunshot, and the phone went dead.
Oh, God.
Like her first day.
First fucking day.
So I'm like, well, that would be dispatching. No, I don't really have any crazy stories. I've got a lot of crazy stories from actually being on the road. And 911, actually, just dispatching was kind of boring. That's one reason why that I went the cop route instead.
Right.
Because I said, you can sit here and listen to people like, you know, in the worst time of their life pleading for help on the phone. That get really depressing.
Sure.
Every day.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I got some crazy stories. I had a guy who shit himself and all over me in the process.
Oh,
I had to wrap him in black trash bags to put him in the back of my patrol car. That was a fun story.
Oh gosh.
I can tell that one. So we showed up we wanted to talk to this guy. He was 18, so he was legal, adult, and he had stolen a cell phone. So from his buddy. So his buddy came up and made the report and all that. So we go out to this house to talk to this kid. And when we're there to talk to him, this guy's dad comes out. And he starts running his mouth and he's like, you guys get the fuck off my property. And we're like, well, we're not here to talk to you. We're here to talk to your son, about a cell phone. And so, I mean, he just would not shut up. And so the backup officer was there and he kept telling him, he finally told him, he's like, sir, it's one of those things, again, where if you do what you're told, there's no problems.
right.
He finally said, sir, either shut your mouth and go, and shut your mouth and go inside, or we're going to place you under arrest for hindering the investigation. Okay. He just wouldn't. So then he was on his front porch. So he had a gate. So he opens the gate and starts to step off the porch. So the backup officer deploys his taser and tases the guy because he was coming at us.
Sure.
Well, some people, and I wish I would have brought it. I've got video of me getting tased, and I mean, I had to take a ride, and I mean, you just lose all control of every muscle in your body, and you can't catch yourself. That's why if you see somebody who's at a dead run and they get tased, it's fucking the funniest thing in the world because
hilarious.
they just fall face first because they can't stop
like,
themselves. Yeah. Well, some people, I mean,
Lose their shit.
they
literally.
don't. So we tase this guy. He doesn't go down. He starts running back into the house, pulling the taser out of him.
Oh my God.
So at that point, it becomes a fresh pursuit because we don't know what he's going in the house to get.
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, I pull my firearm and we go running in the house after this guy. Right. So, because I don't know if he's going after a gun or what. So we run through the house, and I'm chasing him through the house, and he gets to the back bedroom and he shuts the door right before I get to it and locks it. And I mean, at the time, I'm only like 150 pounds, but when your adrenaline is going like that, so he's pressed up against the door, like got his back and everything, like to the door, like pressing it shut,
Yeah.
right? So I kick it, and about 2 kicks, I kick the door in. Well, when I kick the door in, it hits him, and he had a bullet mattress was on the floor in this bedroom, and so when I kick the door in, it knocks him over. And he falls face first into the bullet mattress. So then I proceed to straddle him to get him in handcuffs, right? Well, when I jump down to straddle him, he shits.
Ugh.
And all he had on was a pair of gym shorts.
Oh man.
And so the shit goes all down his leg, all over me. And so then I'm instantly pissed.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm like, I was going to put you in handcuffs. Now I just want to beat your ass.
Yeah.
But I can't do that.
No.
So I get him in cuffs, and then I have to put him in my car. And so I have to get trash bags and line my seats with it.
Right.
It's all over me. So I have to drive him to the jail with the most the foulest smell you could think of, all the way to the jail. And I am just so pissed off.
And this isn't even the guy that stole the phone.
No,
It's
this
his
is
not
dad.
even
dad.
while we were there. Yeah.
God.
So, I mean, this is a totally...
We didn't even come here for
No.
you, some bitch.
And so, yeah, I mean, I had to go home and change, put on different pants, because he literally shit all over me. So, there's a fun one.
There's something about human shit.
No, and that's the thing. I can take... Bodily fluids don't bother me. Like, I mean, I can watch somebody puke. That
Yeah,
doesn't bother me.
right.
I can watch somebody... I don't like being spit on, but I can watch somebody spit, on my clothes. Doesn't bother me. But something about
shit.
shit,
Human shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've had dog shit on
Yeah,
me, and
it's
it's
like,
like,
oh, whatever.
oh, gosh, dang it, dog shit.
I've had
But
horse.
it wasn't like I
human
stepped
shit.
in it, right?
Yeah.
Like this guy
Right.
frosted me like I was a fucking cake. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah. So then my sergeant was like, he's like, asked me if I got the report, and he's like, man, you got your shit covered. And I go, don't ever say shit
the
covered to
word
me
shit
again.
covered. No, just don't.
Yeah.
Those two words, not together.
Just walk out of the
Cheers.
house like, where's the fucking cell phone?
So that was a fun story.
That's a fun story.
Just give me the cell phone.
Just give me the
son
cell
of a
phone, you
bitch.
stupid
I
ass.
had a 50, so he had to be in his 50s, overweight male, shit on me. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
To call that in.
Well, to that.
To that,
Oh, gosh.
we're gonna drink some tequila.
That's good shit.
Well, I have to take a bathroom break. Can we
Okay.
do that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will take
just
some
did the
more.
same.
I will take some more pickle juice. If you
Absolutely. Well, that pickle juice is like so tart. It's making my eyes water more than the tequila.
Are you doing okay over there?
I asked if she wanted something. She's like, ew, shit, gross. Shit, ew.
Your
I've
butt's
got-
not hurting on that piano bench? We have a cushier seat over there.
So I've got a White Claw or a soda, but you said you're good on drinks. Okay. All right. Just
We'll leave you alone.
we'll leave you alone. We'll stop bugging you. My goodness. I just had my potty break. He knows where the bathroom is, right?
He'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's easy. Some people are like, what? So I'm just going to put this across the bottom of the screen. We are not done by any means, but I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen anyway. Ways to support the show are right there while we're taking this little potty break. And also, don't forget to listen to Monday Morning Medication, which we release every Monday morning-ish. Sometimes it pushes the noon hour, but doesn't matter. We get it out on Mondays. And it's just Dan and I talking about some pop culture stuff.
Monday
and
morning is super fun.
It
It's
is.
super fun.
It's like the real show, kind of.
It's completely different than this show.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't say the real show. I should take that back. It's not the real show.
Well, yeah, we don't. Anyway, if you haven't listened to Monday Morning, it's Monday Morning Medication is just the name of a little Monday morning show that we do. It's still the Unsung Screamers
Right.
podcast. So wherever you
It's
listen to your
confusing.
podcast, just go to Unsung Screamers. But then just the title, just the name of this little show we do every morning is every Monday is called Monday Morning Medication.
Right.
And there have been some good ass. This last week's was good.
This last week was good. Yeah. Yeah. This past Monday.
We ended it with a Galactic Thrust song.
Yes.
It was freaking great.
It was a good show. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my practice. I've been doing it for over a year now, and I'm just practicing my comedy on Monday Morning Medication because I'd like to do some stand up
To get your nerve up to do some stand-up,
to
yeah.
ever get on stage.
So, yeah.
So I'm trying to get all my rehearsal time in the Monday Morning Medication.
Yeah.
I even admit it, like I'm working on bits.
Working on bits on Monday Morning Medication, the podcast. So it's like like he said, it's a show on our Unsung Screamers podcast. Audio only. We don't video that one. It's completely, I do it in my bathroom right here. We record right there. Wake up early in the morning and just record before even doing anything else. And Tyler's back, and now Dan took off. Well, and so did Lindsay.
Does she leave?
No, she's out front or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, she can't leave. She's with me.
Right.
Unless she left me.
And that's it. She might have just left you. Lindsay's out of here. She's like, I'm out. I'm just going to go. I'm just kidding.
She got a phone call.
This is fun.
So
Did you write
Tara.
on the wall? Did you write on the wall?
I wrote on the wall 2 years ago.
I know, but did
I
you
was
write
just
on the wall?
watching. I just looked in there. I forgot that I had written on the wall.
Yeah.
You got some interesting stuff on there.
Yeah, it's been a lot since you've been here.
That's cool, though.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if anybody's football fans, but
Heck yeah.
it's 31-10 Buffalo right now.
Buffalo and who?
Super Bowl champion LA Rams.
Really?
31-10, 47 seconds left Buffalo.
Go Buffalo.
Which I had them picked to win, so.
Are you a big fantasy footballer or something?
Yeah. Obviously a huge Chiefs fan, but I did fantasy last year. Came in fourth place, and then I'm in 2 leagues this year. One's a paid league, one's for free. But I do like fantasy. It's for the next 4 months, I let football, control my mood.
Right.
It's about how it goes.
I feel you.
What I want to know,
Yes.
I want to hear a Jimmy Fortune story.
A Jimmy Fortune story.
Because I saw he's actually going to be in concert in Branson coming up, and I would love to go.
He's working a lot. Yeah, I can't remember the date for Branson, but yeah.
But I tell you, I mean, of course, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But one of the purest tenor voices
Oh, yeah.
on the planet. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's so good.
He is so good. So
we
let's see.
we recorded. So I was in. I mean, I've got a lot of history of music, but I was in a bluegrass gospel quartet with my dad for about 3 years, and we recorded a song that Jimmy wrote. I can't remember that. I don't remember which one it was now, but anyways, my dad called, didn't talk to Jimmy, but talked to his wife. He wanted to get the mechanical for the song so we could cut it, and talked to Jimmy's wife and said yeah, she was just a sweetheart. But didn't get to talk to Jimmy, but I would love to meet him. That would be he's a phenomenal talent.
So he has an episode on the show.
I heard it in full. Yeah,
and
phenomenal.
The video version I think is available on Patreon.
Have not seen that, but it was over a Zoom call, right, or something.
Yeah.
I have not, but I heard the audio. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, and we have some, or just the extra. There might be just an extra on Patreon. Is his video on Patreon? Jimmy Fortune. I know that the extra thing is where we did a little extra stuff. Yeah. So Jimmy Fortune story.
great.
I don't know. There's a couple, but the first one that comes to mind was one of the first shows I did with the Statlers was in St. Joseph, Missouri. It was the second one. I did West Plains, then St. Joseph, and then Joplin, and that was kind of an audition series of shows. They didn't know me from anybody. I got paid, but I didn't get paid what I ended up getting paid. But I did these 3 shows, and so in St. Joseph at the big arena up there in St. Joe. He's the only one that usually came to catering and hung out with the band and the crew and us and whatever. The rest of the Statlers usually stayed at the hotel or on the bus. But Jimmy was the more social guy. He's the younger guy. He was more our age. He's older than me, but he was closer to our age-ish than the rest of the guys.
Right.
And they just didn't have an interest in going to catering. Anyway, so Jimmy... What?
He also might have had a huge crush on you.
Jimmy did?
Possibly.
I don't know. But this was my second show. You're adding stuff that doesn't really...
I know.
It's
That's
cute.
what I do.
It's cute, but
I mean, it makes for what ifs.
it could happen. I don't know.
What if?
So it's not a big story, but I had nothing to lose when I was doing these 3 shows. Like my band dissolved. My best friend had cancer. It was like all this stuff, and I was with a guy that wasn't awesome, and like I had nothing to lose. So it's like whatever. I'll just do these shows and hope for the best and all that. So I'm doing my sound check, and I'm about to step off stage, and there's Jimmy, and I was like, oh hi, because it's the first time I actually met him. I didn't meet him in West Plains. I saw him on the show, but I didn't meet him. Sure. So there he was, and I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, blah, 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 all the same kudos you give to anyone that you see that's a freaking legend in the music business. And I just said to him, I said, I got a question for you, because I was having issues at that time with my voice. I was like singing too much or whatever. I was too stressed, whatever. And so I said, how in the world do you keep your voice so clean and clear? And he just looked at me and he goes, rest.
Yeah, I've heard that's the most important thing.
And I was like, oh, well, I can't do that. So
Right. No,
what's the second one in line? Yeah. But he totally was like, no, you need your rest. You need to get rest. Not vocal rest. You need to sleep. He says one of the things that he did a lot when he was playing music on the road before the Statlers was just stay up and party and all this stuff. And his voice started dying. And he was like, once I started stop doing that and got more rest, my voice has been crystal clear ever since. He says, I have no other tricks other than rest and a lot of water.
That's when I would do like a Friday and a Saturday, I would notice, I mean, like by Sunday I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And it's still somewhat, and I probably don't sing, entirely correctly, but I mean, after 2 days, I mean, Sunday I couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
And, I'll tell you, I said I do some fill-in stuff now, if anybody needs anything, but I like to scratch the itch sometimes. Like, I'm just enough script, but I don't miss the playing full time. And I tell you what changed it. When I got married, she's wonderful. And I was playing on the show at the lake. I was doing that. And it got to be where it was more of a job. And I felt like I was going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
And I always said that when it wasn't fun anymore, that I would quit. And I mean, although you never quit, it never leaves you. Like, I don't play. So I'll do some fill-in stuff. I don't play much anymore at all. No, I do miss it, but you know, that's either if you've either got a spouse that's in it with you, or it's a single man's game. You know, I mean, I got 4 kids and a wife, and you know, I work so much, and then you know, I try to make time for them.
Well, it's interesting to me because I think, you know, it's probably maybe it hasn't been properly studied, but I think there's kind of this separate thing that doesn't get talked about very much that has to do with fulfillment, happiness and fulfillment and things like that. Because Tara and I right now currently are in a similar boat. We're not really playing out. People ask all the time, like, when's Boot going to play again and all this stuff.
Right.
We still love it. She, of course, still loves singing more than me because she's better at singing than me. There's the love of music is still 100% there.
Sure.
But that you know, Bono and U2, he calls it the God-shaped hole. Sometimes you have a God-shaped hole in your heart, and it doesn't necessarily have to be filled with God. I think that's a metaphor. Yes. I mean, and the way like my heart had a Tara-shaped hole, and as soon as that hole got filled, I don't have this deep desire to go prove anything to anybody. Yeah, right. Musically, I've done some really fun, wild stuff musically. Great. I had a great time. I don't wake up every day with a burning desire to get on stage. And that's not because I'm giving up. That's not because I'm washed up.
Right.
It's a choice. That's just like, I have got fulfillment in my life now that is so different than what music was. Sometimes music is the thing that we are chasing because at that moment in our lives, it's very fulfilling, or at least the closest thing to being fulfilling.
Right.
But yeah, you get to a place where you find someone that is just like, wow, this is it.
Good.
Then you're kind of good, and we still play music. I still, you know, I'll be a part of anything that comes along, but it would totally just be by choice and enjoyment. It would not be work, effort, trying to like validate myself. Fuck all that.
See, that's where it comes from me is, and I'll tell you quite honestly, I got really tired of being known, like just being known for one thing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like if people would have a party or they have a get together, you know, I'd get invited, but then it would be like were you going to bring your guitar?
Play a song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Dance,
that got
monkey,
old.
dance.
And I thought, like, why can't we just hang out just to hang out?
Right.
And, you know, I have a reputation and a persona on stage that's nowhere near what I am in real life, you know? And I think anybody that's an entertainer, you know, has that. You turn that switch, at least you should, you turn that switch off. When you get off stage, okay, you're back to reality. And my reality is I wanted to be noticed or recognized for just being a good human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus like, man, I tell you what, like I saw Tyler sing the other night, and like that's all good and fine.
Right.
But it became a point where, like, you know, that was not. I mean, I'm more than an entertainer.
Right.
Like I'm a person as well.
Right.
And so that's been a relief. And you know, being with someone who could care less, you know, whether or not that I was a musician, whether I was a baker, you know, who could not care less.
Right.
Who just wants to spend time with me for me. You know,
Crazy concept.
That
right?
changed everything. And so now I can play gigs, as you said, on my time.
Right.
When I want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit here and I watch certain bands. Like I watched Paralandra become what they are right now. You know who Paralandra is.
Oh yeah.
And I saw probably their first or second show over at what used to be, it's now the Riff, but it used to be
I think I did see their
club.
first show at the Ozark Empire Fair.
So,
or one of their first shows.
and I'm watching this young girl just working at it and working at it. And Cassandra has become something that's unstoppable.
She's
and I
great.
watch her and the whole band's great, but I'm just watching in that. And there's part of this, what I'm getting at is at this age, all I've done, I've played in front of 20,000 people. I know what that feels like, and it was fucking awesome. Wasn't my crowd, it was the Statler's crowd, but still, it was fucking awesome. I toured, I made good money, da-da-da-da-da. But what she does looks like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of work.
It is a lot of
you
work.
know?
for
And
sure.
so I'm just like, you go, girl.
And you were doing that lot of work.
I
when you
was
were
doing
her
that lot of
age,
work. I was
but
touring. I was playing 6 nights a week
Yeah.
at places and going to the next place, playing 5 nights, playing 6 nights. You talk about 2 nights in a row. How about 6 nights of being the lead singer of a band?
Yeah.
And this was back in the 90s. And so I did all that. And I'm so glad that I did. But right now, at the age I am, there are some things, this sounds crazy, but there are some things that are magic that happens at karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds crazy to say that.
That's because people are doing it for fun.
Dude,
Yeah.
They're not doing
exactly.
it. They're not doing it to
There has been
to
some
entertain anybody.
magic.
Yeah.
yeah,
and I get so much out of I got a lot out of teaching voice. I still will sometime, but I'm not doing it right now. But the teaching aspect and I'm such a people person that I want other people to excel too. And so at this age, with all this experience I have, I'm getting more out of boosting other people up than me
Yeah.
being the center of attention.
Right.
And I use Cassandra as an example because she's doing fantastically, and that's a lot of fucking work to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah, mad respects.
That's where I
Yeah.
get. That's where I'm at with my own daughter. You know, we have 2 13-year-olds, and so our second in line, one just turned 13 in August, and then one turns 13 in November. So Maddie would be number 2. I watch her, and she loves to sing.
mm-hmm.
But like now, like I get more joy out of watching her succeed
Mm-hmm.
than I'll ever get playing on stage myself.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
and I want her to, and I instilled the same thing in her, and I said, you know, if do it because you want to do it, don't do it because you feel like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it to impress anybody because you don't have shit to prove to nobody.
Right.
But you know, I thought I did for a long time, and I thought, man, like if I don't go here and I don't sing, then like nobody's gonna notice me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I was, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the older you get, you know, you get wise when you get older, and it's like, I got a family, my kids are healthy, I have a wife that loves me, you know, like I'm living a good life.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I do miss music. Like there's times if I go see somebody play live, you know, I'm like, man, I wish I was up there, you know. But like I said, I'm playing with Brock coming up, you know, doing some filling stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing a show, like a group of women who rock thing. Damsel's hosting it kind of at Southbound on the 30th.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to
And
that. It's going to be
You'll have fun with that because
4 or 5 songs.
Kristen's dynamite.
Yeah, she's
And-
going to sing with me on one of them. I'm
and
not going to
she-
say what it is, but
No, she's dynamite. And it's, you know, Friends, I liked the Friends gig. I would have liked
Yeah.
it more if you could just eliminate the drunk people. If you could eliminate the drunk, obnoxious folk.
you also had a hammer on your head of what you could allow people to sing, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't do that at Marty's.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, you know, not so much during the weekdays.
Mm-hmm.
See, because when I took that gig, it was supposed to be a Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Slower nights, you know, for me to kind of ease into this because
Sure.
Caleb Abbott, who's been the DJ there forever,
He's great.
was wanting to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, I mean, I basically just got shoved into Wednesday through Saturday. And so on Fridays and Saturdays, yeah, like nobody could sing anything slow. And so it pisses people off.
It does.
Some people are ballad singers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what
Yeah.
they like to sing. And I think, my personal opinion, I think you can showcase a voice a lot more with a good ballad than you can with a fast song.
Yeah,
If they're a good
sure.
singer.
There's some ballad songs that, I mean, you can really work that range, you know?
There's a quote from the movie Amadeus that's I think Salieri asks, so what do you write for the singer if they're not such a great singer? He says you write something really fast.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that. It's not so much I'm paraphrasing that quote, but
Mm-hmm.
and that's true. But if someone excels at singing ballads, like Friends has got their thing going. I'm not saying
No,
they're killing
they're
it.
great.
They're awesome,
They're
and it's
great,
a
yeah.
great party spot and everything. I'm not saying they're doing it wrong. It's just not my style.
Right.
You
And
know?
Mark's done a good thing at the Riff.
Yeah,
I
he
guess
sure
they're
has.
doing well.
Yeah.
No, they're great.
Did you know he married us?
I did not know that.
He married us. Mark.
Mark Schween. Really?
He married
I
us
did not
over
know
at
that.
Crave.
He's
Yeah.
ordained.
I did not know that.
We got some comments.
We
a
got
shit ton of comments. In fact, we have a comment from Jared
well,
that
look who's
says,
here.
"Let us go to the comments."
No, he said, "Let us go to the comments." Damn it!
Yeah.
He's been leaving several of them.
Look
But
at
I want to
us.
go back because we were in pretty good discussion, and when Bono commented, and I'm not sure what he's referring to, but he's just telling a story.
He just said one of his friends just broke his wrist at
This
the
is his
Jared
son.
football game tonight.
Oh, wow.
Owie.
Ouch.
That stinks. Sorry to
Yeah,
hear that, bud.
sucks. And then Jared said, "Hey, all, glad to see you're still going. Hey, Tyler, how are you, my friend? What a whirlwind of a freaking week, dear Lord."
What a whirlwind! If a freaking week. I have to point out his typos. It's part of our shtick.
What a whirlwind if a freaking week.
And he says,
It's okay, Jared.
Tyler Weeks is not a one-truck pony.
I don't know.
LOL.
I don't-
Trick.
I don't know what that means.
He's the worst at trying to text. His thumbs get all fumbled up. Dan, why are you wearing Jeff's shirt?
Yeah.
Actually, Jeff gave me this shirt.
Yes, he did. A long time ago, and you can kind of tell.
Jeff Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
still trying to get that guy a date. I guess Kristen's got it locked down though now, so we're good. I was remember he at Brian's benefit, we were trying to auction off a date for Jeff Ward, and he didn't get a single bid. That poor son of a bitch. Still, he didn't get a single bid, but
No
Well,
bids.
it's all right.
He and Kristen are getting married in
Yeah.
December, so
Are
I
they really?
guess he found a
Yeah,
date.
Kristen got it locked down. That's good. That's good.
And Jared says, "I've never been able to get away with singing Whitney Houston in any band I've been in, but I've done it a couple times at karaoke with Tara. He frickin' sings the shit out of some
His
Whitney
Whitney
Houston.
Houston is hilarious.
Yes,
It's awesome.
it's not even hilarious. It's actually pretty phenomenal.
it's good, but I'm saying the fact that it's
he's
good
doing Whitney.
just makes me cry laughing
Yeah.
the whole night. Like
Yeah.
it's not good that Tyler threw his friend in the trash,
Right.
but I laugh at that. I think it's the funniest thing in the
I
world.
thought we were past that. No.
That's a great story.
You know what?
The best quote of the night is, "This has turned into a roast."
Yeah. Hey, you can't have
Thin
sensitive skin and come on this show.
No. You cannot.
Got to have rhino
Let me say
skin and
something though
elephant balls.
about Jared though.
Yeah.
Jared is he's just a phenomenal dude. He really is. Jared has I don't even remember how that I met Jared. I know it's terrible. I don't remember how that we met actually, but Jared's a phenomenal dude. I think he's got a great show.
Yeah.
He's working really hard.
He's got a hell of a guy doing his intros for him.
Yeah, I know
That's
that
right.
voice. I don't
Do
know where
you
that.
do you have any of your scripts memorized? Do the one about bands needing light production.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have it memorized, but I just know it's don't be a jukebox, be an experience.
There you go. There you go.
Just know that one.
What about being on his show? Do you want to
Do
be on
you
the show?
want to be a guest?
Yeah, and that prick, I didn't even know that he was going to record that. I was doing that one as a joke because he said he wanted more cartoony. So the way I read that, and he kept it, but it's okay.
It works.
He likes it when I say, he's your friend and mine, Jared Isaacs, everybody.
There you go.
He just likes hearing me say his name.
Your
that's
friend
all.
and mine. I love it. That's so good.
He likes hearing everybody say his name.
Multiple times. He's been out to karaoke quite a bit. He's sang.
Really, man, I missed that.
He has sang quite a
Yeah,
bit.
he's
Like,
actually
he
come
is
out a lot.
really supporting us out there
That's
at
good.
Marty's. It's really
The
cool.
Whitney Houston is it's too much.
I want to hear him sing some Tiny Tim.
Yeah, no shit.
It's the only Tiny Tim anybody knows.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, you know the first time I heard that song was I watched that movie Insidious. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
It's creepy as shit.
No,
You should
but
watch it.
I've heard
It's
of it.
it's called Insidious, and you should watch it. It's creepy. And the demon in that movie, like he's playing "Tiptoe Through the Tulips" by Tiny Tim.
Oh my god.
And it's creepy. Yeah, it's creepy.
Gross.
I think it's on
Be a
Netflix.
jukebox.
Be an experience.
Sunset Productions. No,
Yeah, there it is. There it
There it
is.
is.
Sunset Productions. That's it. He says
this is Jared Isaacs saying that ain't no sock in my crotch.
He remembers the most important part. I love my freaking dude. Nice. Yeah.
That's
Don't-
funny, though.
Don't be a jukebox. Be
So I will say, like,
You know, if the Unsung Screamers needs any ad reads, you know.
that's right.
Right?
We'll do. Yeah, we'll do it for sure.
We've been talking about that. We need it to be somebody else's voice because we do our own, and
That'd be good.
people are
I
sick
just
of hearing
don't
us.
know.
We
I
should just use the exact same soundbite on "Do you want to be a guest?" and then we'll just edit it.
It'd be Unsung Screamers.
I actually think I did an ad read for you on Jared's show. I did because you guys
Yeah.
you guys had a little plug on his show, and I think I
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
right. Yeah, I
think I
remember
read
that.
But it could be
I
like,
remember.
do you want to be a guest on the show? Unsung Screamers.
Unsung Screamers.
I do,
Just
man.
shove it in there.
No, Jared's a good. He came in. He did a Taste Buds video a while back. He came down to Taste
Yeah?
Buds and did a video, and he was quite the character. He's funny. Jared's a good dude.
We did 2 episodes
they
with them,
still
and I never
doing?
saw the second episode.
Yeah, because they lost the file.
Oh, did they? That
Oh,
happened.
nice.
So they have the one.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They didn't air the peanut butter whiskey that you did, and yeah, they lost the file. So
Because we were so fucking drunk from the first
I think
episode.
you guys had a few by then,
Oh yeah.
And then we raced home to go
Are they?
to Greg
Oh,
X
yeah.
Balls' birthday.
right?
Are they still doing their podcast?
They are. Last I knew, they've been on a little hiatus because they've been trying to do some studio work. Like they basically built a whole new studio
In the same building?
Yeah, but like they built basically now when you go in there, when you did it, like they just had this studio
Corner.
room.
Back in the
Now
corner.
they've got like a lounge area for guests that can just come chill.
Oh, cool.
Like if you want to smoke, if you want to drink, whatever. Like they've got a liquor cabinet there that if you come down there you can drink whatever. So I mean they're putting in bathrooms. Like I mean they've done
Very
the whole.
cool.
Oh, nice.
They've changed it. So I just talked to Chris yesterday, and I guess they've recorded a bunch of stuff. They just got to get it posted, but they've been
and
a
for
little
those
hiatus.
of you listening, it is
Those Taste Bud guys.
those
Yeah.
Taste Bud guys.
And I said, and I only plug them and said because they're personal friends of mine. They're great. I try to give them and you guys and Jared as much support as I can.
They're fun. I
so,
mean,
yeah,
we
they're a
did
good
those
group.
2 episodes, and obviously we drank, but it was more just the personalities and
It was
everything.
great time.
I tell you, if you want some good stories, you need to have them on sometime.
Yeah,
to come
we should
here.
definitely.
Yeah, we
they
should.
got. I know Lyle's got some hilarious road stories from playing music.
And
I mean,
he's just a great
hilarious.
singer too. I mean, go
He's-
hear him sing.
You know, one thing I appreciate about Lyle is Lyle could have got a record deal
yeah.
if he conformed to the mainstream country.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He says, I want to sing what I want to sing, the roots Americana folk stuff.
Yeah.
And he's great at it. And
Yeah.
so, but he's stuck with it. And they do a home play series on Thursday night. I think one Thursday a month. They have a singer songwriter that's coming through the area to stop in and do a show. But yeah, no, he's
That's cool.
he's got some pretty crazy road stories that involve sleeping in a van and a hooker, and he's
lots of cool
got a good show. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Jared said doing 3 episodes with him. It was scary driving back to Springfield.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
bet,
did 2
yeah.
episodes and raced
Yeah.
back. Yes, we did the
We
same.
did 2 episodes, yeah, and we were
Look at us all making good
Jeepers.
life choices.
That's
you know,
right.
Hell
That's right.
yeah.
So
Great.
throughout the night, we've learned some really wild, fun stuff, new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Being a cop and opening for Eddie Money.
No, Eddie Rabbit.
Eddie
I
Rabbit.
wish it was Eddie Money. Eddie Rabbit.
I have always my entire life gotten Eddie Money and Eddie Rabbit mixed up.
Why?
I don't know. But with all that
don't know.
said, is there anything that is just wildly, maybe even off the grid, that is just like, here's something probably no one fucking knows about me, period? Like, either that you've experienced or that
He
you
already
are
told us
that-
the Kirby story.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
No,
I'm saying, even with the Kirby, is there still something that's like, man, here's one thing that I don't think a damn person knows about me.
I once tried out to be a professional wrestler.
Really?
Oh, this perfect. Perfect.
See?
Yes.
There you
Do
go.
you know who Harley Race is,
Oh,
or
hell
who
yes.
Harley Race was?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in I can't even think of the name of the town now. It starts with an E in Missouri.
Jared would know because I
Jared
think
would
he
know.
went to that same
I
school.
think he went to
or
that
he was
same
gonna go
thing.
to that school.
Starts with an E. Anyways, Harley Race had a wrestling academy called World League Wrestling.
He just put
Eldon, Missouri.
Yeah.
He just put
Eldon,
WLW.
World
And
League
Julia also put Eldon because
Wor-
she's a wrestling
Yeah,
fan.
in Eldon. He had a World League Wrestling. World League Wrestling came to Buffalo High School. My dad got him there. Was on the the Optimist Club, which is like I don't know how to explain it, but it was a club in Buffalo, and so they did a fundraiser. So they had the WLW come to the high school and put on a wrestling show, and they sold tickets and raised money. And we got to meet the wrestlers, and I got to meet Harley Race and all that. So then when I got old enough, I just kind of got a wild hair, and I thought, you know what? I could do that. And I grew up a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it, you know. I mean, I grew up watching the WWE and everything. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. So I found out that that they were having auditions. You could audition. You had to pay $50. You had to pay them $50.
Right.
To audition?
But you could go and try out.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I went down and I tried out, and I get there, and mind you, I'm the smallest guy in the room by a lot. Right. And so I walk in there and give them my money and stuff, and say I'm here for a tryout. So they were doing the cardio. This is what they started with. So, you know, push-ups, free squats, all that stuff. So I said, you know, I don't want to eat a whole lot before I go, but I do want to eat something. So I think we stopped at McDonald's, and I had like a McDouble. I just want to get something in my stomach.
Right.
I snuck to the bathroom, and I said, man, I don't want to look like a pussy. So I snuck off to the bathroom and puked up my hamburger. Because, I mean, these guys were doing, like, I mean, push-ups, sit-ups, all kind, just nonstop.
Right.
Their cardio is insane. So then after that, we got to tie up, and we grappled a little bit. And then I remember they had me get in the ring, and I ran the ropes a few times, which hurts, by the way. Even just running the ropes and bouncing off the ropes, it hurts.
Right.
And, I mean, it'll put calluses on your back. It hurts. And they said, you know, you might piss some blood, you know, because, you know, they hit like right where your kidneys are at.
Right.
So you ran off the ropes a few times, and you had to try to take a bump. So you have to basically just stand and tuck your chin and then, you know, go flat back and take a bump. Well, my neck muscles weren't strong enough yet, because you're supposed to keep your chin tucked so you don't hit your head on the mat. You know, you're just hitting like neck and back. Right. Well, every time I'd go to hit, my head would hit the mat because my neck wasn't strong enough. So I'm getting a fucking migraine that like nobody's business. But I am proud of myself. So then the last thing they had me do was they had one of their wrestlers get in the ring with me. And they said, you guys are just going to grapple. They said for 5 minutes.
How old were you?
I don't know. I was probably 20.
Okay.
Something like that, 19, 20.
Okay.
And so they said, we're going to have you grapple. And they said, we just want you. First of all, I had to try to keep him on the mat. Mm-hmm. And then we switched, and he had to try to and I had to try to get out, right? So we did that for 5 minutes. I had to try to hold him down. And then 5 minutes, I had to try to get out and escape, right? I did pretty good. And then the last thing of the day was I had to do push-ups, like their conditioning to kind of calm down after they do after they train before they go home. And so they set up a bench, and then I put my feet on the bench. So you're basically inclined like this, and you got to do push-ups, which is hard to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I never stopped, but I remember like I got to the point where I could not pull my face off the carpet. I was so exhausted that I could not pull myself up. So one of the wrestlers came over, straddled me, and they literally just got underneath my stomach, and they would help me up every time. I'd go down, and they'd help me up. So then I left, and I mean I got the ever living shit kicked out of me, right? So I left, and then like 2 days later, I got a call, and they said it was Harley's wife. And Harley raced his wife, and she said, Harley liked the fact that you did not give up, that you pushed yourself. And so I actually got accepted to go to the academy. So basically, they would train you to be a pro wrestler. You would work for this organization, much like the minor leagues in baseball.
Sure.
Until you got called up to the big leagues, right?
Sure.
The only problem was it was like $13,000 or whatever to be able to do it.
To join.
So at that time, there was no way that I was going to ask my parents, can I have $13,000 to be a pro wrestler? Like, you know, they would have looked at me like I had about 6 heads. So I got accepted to go, but I didn't have the money.
Right.
So I didn't get to go. But yeah, nobody knows that. So I did. I
fantastic.
tried out to be a pro wrestler,
And you made it.
and I would have made it. But yeah,
You made
Can you imagine?
Yep.
Jared said it's the biggest regret of his life because he wanted to do that so bad.
Yep.
He said he should have went.
And then he also says that we are fans of midget wrestling. Yeah, we just saw
We
the midget
are.
wrestling
We just saw
downtown
the
a few
midget
weeks ago.
wrestling couple
Jared's a
weeks
fan of midget porn.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we will probably talk about it on the Monday morning
Midget porn?
medication. No. Speaking of midgets,
Oh, okay.
we will probably talk about it on the Monday morning medication coming up. But have you heard of Mini Kiss?
Oh my God.
No, was that midgets in a Kiss cover band?
Yes.
Oh my
No.
God.
It's
That's
delicious.
pretty good. That's pretty good. That's
they
pretty
go
good.
all out.
That's pretty good.
It's all the makeup, all the everything.
That's funny.
Mini Kiss. Look it up on YouTube.
And Jared says he's a fan of all porn.
I'm a fan of all porn. Me too.
I'm thinking on that one for a minute. Okay. Okay.
I don't think there's entirely truth to that statement.
That's why I was like,
I think there's, and I think there's some things we're leaving out. I think that's not entirely true,
I
Jared.
bet there would be some that he would be like, nah,
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just guessing.
He's not going to watch a pile of girls.
That's funny though.
He might. There's some straight people that like gay porn. I mean,
It's
whatever.
true. True story.
Oh, he did. He said, "Yep, all." Okay. well,
See? All right. Well,
Well,
good
there
on
you
you.
go.
Good
All
on
right.
you, sir.
he wasn't here for the Kirby story. I don't imagine.
No, but that would be a great one to rewind to about halfway through.
But Yes,
Straighten,
there you go.
straighten, sure, lesbian, nah. Okay.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that? I heard a joke about that one time about the porn.
Yeah.
He said I was sitting with my buddy, and he said this guy was like, he was like the straightest guy you'd ever talk about. Like you couldn't convert him at all. He was, he was super straight, even a little homophobic, right?
Right.
And I'm sitting there, and I go, dude, we're all gay. It's just to what level? And he goes, no, we ain't. And I go, yeah, we are, and I can prove it to you. He goes, okay, try me. It's all right. And I said, you like to watch porn? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay, well, so do you only watch the girl on girl scenes? And he goes, no, I'll watch a man make love to a woman. I said, okay. So you prefer the male to have a small half flaccid penis? He goes, no, I like big heart throbbing cock. I did not know that about myself.
That's good.
Hey, there's some truth
There's
to
some
that.
truth to that. I like a big heart. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Truth. Porn with a good-looking male member is way better
It's way better.
than like when
Well, I'm a girl, so.
Squeaky comes out. Like me.
Squeaky?
I'm going to the next video.
You're entirely too good at that, Tara. That's creepy. I tell you, I've had a lot of fun, and
Oh, man, this
I
has been
appreciate
great.
you guys having me on. I appreciate you guys
One
starting
more
the
shot.
show late.
And we will
One
round
more,
this
and then
up.
we're ending it.
All right,
we're
so
ending it.
while we're taking the shot,
Okay.
your the best joke you got.
The best joke
Yeah,
I
start
have?
with you, Tara. The best
I
joke.
suck at jokes, man.
Well, give me your best one.
That's good.
What was the one I told the other day that was actually pretty good?
Give me your best one.
Remind me what
I have no idea.
I told you and you were like, ah,
Okay, how about your favorite joke then?
favorite joke. Oh my God. I'm terrible at just jokes. I don't know.
On the spot.
On the spot.
Here, I'll take a shot.
I'm trying to think.
Oh my God. It's so funny, but it's on the spot, like, silence. Favorite joke. I just told one the other day that was fucking awesome. Oh, I know what it was.
Okay.
This is not my favorite, but it's one I can remember.
Okay.
I said it just on the show last week, I think, because we were talking about cows.
About cows.
What kind of animal goes, ooh?
I don't know.
A cow without lips. But
That's pretty good.
just saying.
That's one of those that's so stupid it's good.
Yes, exactly. That's all her jokes.
All right, so there's this guy, and he's in the bar talking to his buddy, and he's taking flying lessons.
Flying lessons.
Flying lessons.
Okay.
So he tells his buddy, he says, on my first day in the air, he says, my flight instructor tells me that he's a 3rd-degree black belt and a homosexual, and if I don't succumb to his sexual advances, I have to jump out of the plane. So his friend goes, did you jump? He goes, yeah, a little at first.
Jared has a joke. What's the best thing about dating a homeless person? You can drop them off anywhere.
That's a good one.
How about you, Dan? You got a one-liner,
I'm
two-liner?
racking my brain. I know so many jokes. I've got a few of them that I can't tell on this show.
Oh.
Dan needs a job cleaning mirrors. I could really see him doing that.
Haha, but
I got a ton of dad jokes.
I love dad jokes.
Those are great ones.
That's why that Moo one, I was like,
His dad jokes are great.
that's the one I was so I just listened to Bob and Tom and go ace joke of the day, so I stole that from him. Credit where credit's due.
You ever heard that song? It went, I'll never forget the words my daddy told me before he passed away. What the hell? I'll come back to that one. All right.
That'd be a great song.
All
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, kiddo.
Thank you guys very much
This
for
has
having
been
me.
fucking
Yeah.
fun.
Great time.
I adore you guys so much. I said I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys starting late. And thanks to everybody that tuned in. So I'm blessed. I got some great friends in my life. I will leave you guys with my favorite quote. And I actually wrote it on your bathroom wall.
Nice.
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Cheers.
There you go.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's do that again.
Tyler Weeks.
Bam sauce. On that note,
Wrap it up, Tara.
Dan's best joke. He was a one-hit wonder. Oh, boo, boo, boo. You're funny. I love you guys. So I'm going to put this shit up again. Support the show. Next week, our scheduled guest is Tiffany Samples. So Amy O canceled this week. We're going to try to get her back.
You guys have Patreon still?
We do have
Yeah.
Patreon.
Hey, do yourself a favor and go support these guys. Don't be a cheap bastard. They work hard for your entertainment and they're good people. So go support their Patreon.
Thanks, buddy.
Cash App, Venmo,
All the kind of things that
All
are
that good
scrolling
stuff.
across the bottom of
OnlyFans,
this.
whatever they're on.
We are thinking about starting an OnlyFans.
We might do
but
it.
anyway,
Whatever they're on.
the rumor has it we still have onlydanandtara.com.
Yeah,
so,
right,
you know.
right.
Anyway, so thanks Tyler Weeks for being here.
My pleasure.
Lindsay for
Thank
being
you.
very patient. She was here for most of the time. Now she's on a
She's on
phone
the
call.
phone.
She's got a phone call. Probably kid thing, probably. I
She
assume.
might be asleep in the truck.
Once again, it is Miss Tiffany Samples on the show next week, and then we are going to try to book our asses off and get more guests or something like this.
We'll
Maybe
see how it
Amy
goes.
back and
And if you're ever in a bind and need someone to cover for you, I'm your man.
right on.
I can bullshit my way through anything.
That's right. Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. We have a couple more comments. Good to see you, Tyler. Julia says, Unsung Screamers, let me be on your show. Okay, Julia, get your ass down
Anytime,
here.
Julia, whenever you can
Let's
get here.
book it if you can. When's your show? Is it this Saturday? Wait, and we will check you guys.
Would love to have
Screamers
Julia.
Justice. Look at Screamers Justice for Julia. Yes, abso-freaking-lutely.
Justice for
In the
Julia.
meantime, y'all be safe. We will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. We are out.